And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Again, continued coverage of the 2023, the inaugural Agent Ong Open. Emil Williams Jr. back with you again, courtesy of Bowlstream TV. We have the creator of the tournament who has been in and out with us throughout this entire week. Carl is back with us. Hello, Carl.
How you guys doing?
Always doing well, sir. I'm going to ask you about just how well you're doing in just a little bit, because I know we had one reaction yesterday about a sweeper, but I think the next reaction from this squad might be a little bit different. We'll talk about that here in just a second. And then we also have the new heavyweight champion of the new overall leader of the Agent Ong Open at the moment, Brianna Cote.
Hello, good afternoon.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I got some lunch and I'm ready to watch the squad do some work.
Yeah, speaking of that, this is certainly not only on paper, but I think this is the most, just from a talent perspective, yes. Right? There's a lot of talent on this squad alone. In fact, I think we're using the most lanes we've used. We've now got 4 players on a pair. So this squad, the biggest, arguably the best, again, talent-wise. Carl, your thoughts, your reaction. Did you anticipate just how large this squad would be?
That's a tough question, because
you had an idea.
I had an idea. The amount of people on these pairs right now, surprising, and I don't mean that in like underestimation. It's just, you just never know. I don't have any history, like I've said in the past. This is an inaugural event. I don't have any history and numbers to go off of, so blown away. Like I said at the sweeper, very humbling in the amount of people that have come out and supported this event. I'm sitting next to one right now with Brianna. The amount of talent that's out here is absolutely mind-boggling. We have national touring players, major champions that are out here, Major League Baseball players that are bowling right in front of me, ball reps, former ball reps, Team USA members. Absolutely amazing group of talent, as well as amazing up-and-coming amateurs. So this is a true group of all stages of bowling. So yeah, humbled and appreciative, and want to thank everyone that's out here.
Isn't the saying, build it and they will come?
I've heard that. If you build it, they will come.
And I mean, thank you for putting this on. I'm lucky for me, I'm more local, so it wasn't too much of a commute for me, but definitely wouldn't have missed it. So it's a great event. Everything's going well. It's challenging, so that's definitely great. But like you said, the amount of talent, from whether it's a league bowler, coming out here to get better and to take on the challenge, up to, the national players for the tours, either it's my tour or the PBA tour. I mean, the talent is huge, and the squad is going to be very, I'm very interested to see how the squad plays out and how the lanes transition with this many people bowling.
So Emil said last squad that he predicted that whatever the projected cut is after this squad would probably be the number. Do you agree with that?
I'm terrible at cut scores.
Within,
within 3 pins,
a 5-pin range.
like a up or down,
plus or minus,
plus or minus 5. Yeah, I mean, because I think you have a good amount of first-time entrants in this, but you also have some re-entries going on. So you may have some bowlers who, if they try twice, they may not bowl that 6th squad and go for a desperado. They may just get in, or maybe they're just getting a little bit extra practice. So yeah, I think it's probably going to stay pretty close to the same after this squad. I would say that's pretty true, spot on. I don't know what that number will be. Don't. It's based off all the squads with the amount of bowlers that we've had. It's been around even.
Right.
From the first squad up to, this morning squad. So You know, it could go up, it could go down. I'm like I said, it really depends on how these lanes transition with this amount of bowlers, because this is the largest squad that I think we've had. Right?
Yes.
Yes. I mean, I've watched the first 2 days, but obviously I couldn't see past like 13 and 14. So, yeah, I think it'll be very interesting to see how they play out and if they break down to become easier or harder.
Carl mentioned Major League Baseball players. We do have Mookie. This is Mookie's second squad. He bowled last night.
Yeah, he also bowled the sweeper as well.
And he bowled the sweeper, that's right. Mookie's here. In fact, this group on 9 and 10, Brandy Calderon. Brandy joined us earlier in our squad on the mic for a couple of games. Matt Jones.
Yeah. The sweeper winner.
Sweeper winner, yes.
And he said he threw his first shot in practice on his squad and said, yeah, this is not the sweeper.
Well, after you run him a few times, that happens.
He struggled, and he got late. Like game 5, he was on 7. And I could tell, and we talked about it last night, that he had already changed his mindset and flipped it to, I'm now working on what I can do for tomorrow. And he started trying out urethane a little bit, and he brought a few urethane balls with him today, so that will be a part of his strategy.
Yeah, we'll see how it pays off. I bowl with Matt a lot. We're like CBE buddies, and I grew up with Matt, so I've gotten to watch him bowl a lot. It's very, very, very talented, and so I have no doubt in my mind that he definitely learned from the last squad and was like, okay, I gotta have to throw out whatever happened at the sweeper because it's not the same, and just learn from it. So I really think Matt will be pretty good today, and he'll make some smart decisions.
And to their right, D-Ron Booker. We saw Mark Myers actually bowl the previous squad today as well. And I believe his first name is Eric. And I've seen him a few times now.
Eric Hatchett.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. I was like, I know his first name is Eric. I can't think of his last name. But every
he
time
was
I
here
see
watching
him,
this morning.
Okay.
Yes.
He's always throwing it well every time I see him.
He knows how to bowl.
He does.
He does know how to bowl. We got some people around on this side of the country that know how to bowl. It's pretty crazy.
I think for me, and obviously, it's like any other local bowling community. If you're not from the area or maybe know someone directly from that area, wherever it is, you probably won't have an idea just how really good a community is. And I knew that Phoenix has some bowlers, right? We've all known that. Yourself, Shannon Puhowski, Andrew Kane. But I didn't really know until I did the first Cactus Classic. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
This area is like legit.
Yeah, we have the good bowlers from like the younger grades to like amateurs to even senior bowlers. Like, it's impressive. I mean, they know how to bowl out here.
It's a little, I can't even call it a hidden gem. I mean, this is a nice, obviously a great market overall. We're just talking about population and all that kind of stuff, but, and obviously it's a great place to live, if you can deal with the 118 every now and then. But in the wintertime, you're all good. And, I mean, honestly, I don't see it, from my vantage point, after being here for so long, I was just talking to Jason Lowry about that, like, I kind of feel like, like I'm in the group now. Like, I know a lot more people. I'm on a first-name basis with several.
We've adopted you.
To a degree. I do feel like I'm a part of it. So
well, I mean, I appreciate
both of you for that.
me, like, I see you a lot more than any other people here.
Right.
So.
We're different in that regard. We see each other all the time.
Yes, you've been adopted well into the community here.
Carl from we've had some good talks about, again, local. Just last night we were talking about just how important the local bowling structure is. And from your vantage point, being able to partner and talk and help promote, cross-promote and all that. And I know we just talked about you being taken aback, but, I mean, we've got a day left still. But I can't see a reason why this wouldn't be a success. I don't care what happens tomorrow. I don't care, honestly. Even getting to this point was just hard enough, and I did 99% less work than you did to get here. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you, no matter what happens, fantastic job.
Thoroughly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Definitely. Even as a bowler, thank you.
You're absolutely welcome. Like I said, I reached my talent potential many, many years ago, and I made a conscious decision that I'm just not good enough to do this for a living. One of many, many people that probably realized that over time. I went out there, gave it a shot, and we were like, man, you guys are just too damn good. But at least I realized it. And but I love the sport. I've made so many lifelong friends because of it, and I want to still be involved in it. And this was the only, other than going out when my friends make shows. I would fly out and watch, or when the World Series was in Vegas and when it was closer, I'd go hang out with the boys. And that's what I learned to accept doing over the last probably better part of a decade. But I've always wanted to do something a little bit more. And I finally decided to put this together. And like I said numerous times, it's with a lot of help. With a lot of people's brains that I picked. This is not, I cannot take full credit for what we are looking at today. I will say I put in the majority of the work and the most amount of time. But everybody, if everyone enjoyed a piece of this tournament, it wasn't all because of me. And there's a group of people, there's too many to thank, but it's also the support of the community and the bowling community at large. Everyone that has took a chance on me to sign up to bowl this tournament, because this is an inaugural year. There's no history, and you all spent your hard-earned money to come out here and take a shot at something that might not have ever even floored. So for that, I thank everyone that's out here, people in the back, people that have bowled, people that are watching on the stream, blown away, humbled, and thank you again. As far as it being a success, when I look out here and I look down the concourse and it's full, and maybe the last squad might even go all 40 lanes. Yes, I absolutely 100% think it's a success. And depending on when the dust settles and we all work out the numbers at the end, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a second annual event at this point.
Well, you just made a lot of people happy. Not even including me.
Oh, you're coming.
No,
if I do this, you're in.
I'm just saying, just from the bowler's perspective, because that was already, we had already got a couple questions about that in the chat yesterday. Not today, but just throughout. We had a couple questions about, all right, when's next year already? Like,
Yeah.
you got your dates? Like, is it the same time frame? Like, when
Well,
can I
it's
start
funny.
playing?
I was talking to Brianna about that earlier, because that's one of the biggest things. I reached out to as many different larger tournaments, so I don't step on anybody's toes. I am not in competition with anybody else. I am not trying to open a tournament club and try to hold weekly or even monthly events. I want to do a one-off annual event,
Right.
and let's see how many people we can get together from all over. And we have people from Canada, multiple states represented here today.
Yep.
And I just want it to grow. And if, hopefully one day we can represent all 50 states and wherever else. But I just want to pick a date where hopefully it doesn't conflict with anybody else. Great cover by
That
Mookie.
was amazing.
Absolutely great cover.
I was saying, I'm like, ooh, that might do it.
Right.
So he made the 189 on lane 10 last night on the same lane. So
All right.
good things keep happening on lanes 9 and 10.
Okay.
But no, I was talking to Brianna, and we were talking about what's her travel schedule like, because in October, I would like to keep it sometime in October, hopefully around the same dates. And I even asked her, does this date work for you for 2024? And she actually has her calendar already. It's amazing.
Well, that's what high-end bowlers do.
Absolutely. She's scheduled through 28 probably.
No, I'm through like 24, but I'm sure 25 will be here, come January.
Bree, from a bowling question perspective, obviously you just stepped off the lanes. even though we're not quite yet done with game one, are you seeing any similarities and or differences just on the way players kind of attack the lanes this morning? And I know the squad was a little smaller this morning, et cetera, but what are you seeing right now?
I still see some guys are still trying to throw urethane. It's kind of hard because, I mean, urethane can look really, really good. I've seen it look really good for a game, and I've also seen it look really bad, and it could just be pair to pair on who's kind of bowling there. But I still think the same thing's going to happen. The fronts are going to start to go, and they're going to start to hook earlier and earlier. You're going to have to kind of migrate in. But I think ball speed and angles through the front part of the lane are going to be very important. Maybe, not large angles, don't open up the lane in a way as much. So, just trying to keep the ball in play. Like, if you're going to miss, like we talked about earlier this morning, like you're going to have some errant shots, but just minimize those and leave something that you can make. But I'm curious to see how they develop, like midway through towards the end, to see if they just become where you can open up the lane, because there is more play going on, because we really haven't seen that yet. So that's what I'm really curious to see, is if the more and more does the pattern become even more playable, instead of just being about shot making and making your spares, catching a double or a turkey. Because I still think 2-0, 190 is a really good score on this.
I would agree.
I don't. If you're gonna, if you shoot 220, you just say, okay, that was bonus pins, and go to the next game.
Well, if you did it 6 times, you're gonna be in.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, that definitely makes that, coming in tomorrow much easier. But yeah, I still think the pattern's gonna ask you to do something, and you're just gonna have to watch what your ball's doing and just do it. I think, can I see where Matt is here on the lane? I mean, that one he missed in a little bit, but he's still really straight with his angles, and Matt, like I said, I've bowled Matt for a long time. He can open up the lane. If he needs to, he can open up the lane, but he probably learned that maybe he needs to be a little bit straighter with his angles. And that doesn't mean you have to play to the right.
Right.
You can play the track, you can play, I mean, I played a little bit further in and kept it in front of me, so it just really depends on what you're trying to do. Just that front part of the lane is really going to dictate where that ball's going to go.
He was thinking, I think he said he was going to try urethane and play him straighter near the track to start. He's already obviously having great results with that strategy, especially based on last night during squad number 5. In the booth with Brianna Cote and the Agent Ong Open creator, Carl Ong. My name is Emil Williams Jr. Question about Ben Perry. I see you, Storm B. Ben Perry did bowl this morning. I am not sure if he is bowling this squad, but I can research that for you here.
I don't believe Ben is bowling this
I think
squad.
he bowled pretty well this morning.
I think he said he was going to consider coming back at 6.
Yeah, I crossed with him this morning twice, and he had bowled well both games that I bowled with him. So, I mean, I don't know what his other 4 games, but I don't think he bowled terrible.
Unfortunately, man, that last game.
Did he have so he was on the other end of me the last game. So
Game 6 has been tough for a lot of people.
So that's what we were just talking about earlier, is sneaking by doing damage control.
Yes.
If you can get the 190s in there instead of the 150s, 160s, covering your makeables and maybe trying to avoid that one disaster game of, that 160 and just trying to stay as clean as possible and holding on to those 180 possibilities.
Yes.
So where those 2 teens come in, get you back to even. Yeah, like you were saying, Brianna. So
yeah, I mean, it is very damage control, and it's very reminiscent of like a U.S. Open type. You're not trying to shoot the big number. Like the big number just kind of happens when they're tough. You just make your shots, make your spares, and
catching a double.
Catch the double.
Monstrous.
Yeah, and stay calm. Keep your attitude calm. It's when they're this hard, you really got to keep your head on your shoulders. Just try to stay focused on the present, because it's really easy to get frustrated and things go off on tangents, and then you can't execute, and then you're like, what do I do? Because you just forgot everything that you were trying to do.
It becomes super overwhelming.
Yes, and you're just you really just need to try to keep it simple, keep it to your game, whatever your game is. So that's like I said, the errant shots are going to happen, so you're just going to have to try to get as many pins as you can during those shots and move on.
I just posted the overall standings link through 6 squads in the chat. And then obviously you can see exactly where Ben Perry and everyone else is at this current moment. Again, Ben was he was in business and had a rough game in Game 6, which dropped him to minus 38. Or he was going to be plus, and plus by probably by a significant amount.
Yeah, like I said, he bowled well when I bowled with him. So, I mean, hopefully he comes back at 6 o'clock. Was that his first squad?
I believe, yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Let me check to see if his name is in red.
Is it red?
It's not.
Okay. What color is the name? Yeah, well, hopefully he comes back at 6 because he bowled really well.
And once again, that's something to consider. If you've only bowled once, and you're not on this squad right now for number 2.
Oh, Mark Myers.
You got to think about it, because if you wait and that cut number comes out after that 6 o'clock squad and you only bowled once,
you're done.
I'm just going to remind everyone.
You're done.
The only way to qualify for that Desperado squad is if you bowled a minimum of 2 main events.
It's a very good reminder at this point in the tournament because there's only one
left.
full squad left.
Yes.
That's it. And we're limited to 90. I've said that from the beginning.
For the Desperado?
All squads.
Oh, all squads. Okay.
All squads.
Gotcha.
That hasn't even been an issue.
Right.
I think we have almost 60 on this squad.
Yeah, this squad's big.
So I guess, I don't know. I don't know what 6 o'clock was.
Well, you'll have that rush.
You'll have that answer about game 5.5.
You make a very valid point. Yep.
So as soon as it's done, you might as well just go sit down and start taking the sign-ups.
Yeah, I promise you, Game 6, you guys will be in the booth by yourself. I will not be here.
I will be.
No, you'll be
I will
taking
be
money.
home. So.
Right. Bree will be at home. Slim
I have
and
to go to a wedding
whoever
tonight.
else will be closing it down for this squad. I totally get that.
Yeah.
I will join you for the last squad.
It wouldn't even shock me if, the middle of this squad, people starts coming out, hey, Carl.
Yeah, especially if that number starts creeping up. Like if that number, even if that number takes like a 20-pin jump, so it's at like +2 to like plus mid-20s, and those people like around that 30 to 20 number, they're gonna start panicking.
Right.
And they're gonna be like Carl, 6 o'clock.
Right. Well, it's funny. I'm getting text messages right now from, I won't say who. There's a couple people that have already texted me that are currently bowling right now.
Oh, they're
asking
like,
me if
see
they
you
can
at 6?
see you at 6, and can I sign up now? I'll give you, come by lane X, and I'll give you my credit card.
You know, I hate to say it, but that happens. You're like frame 5, game 1. You're like, oh, I think I'm gonna have to do this one again.
So I wish everyone the best of luck, obviously, on this squad.
Definitely.
And yeah, we'll just see how it plays out.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how the scores go and how people play the lanes, how they break down.
So I know you're going home. 8:30 check-in tomorrow morning.
8:30 check-in.
I'm pretty confident you're good.
Yeah, if I'm not good, at this point, it wasn't meant to be.
That too, a good reminder.
There's a problem.
8:30 a.m. check-in.
Hey, that's an hour later. Whew.
I think I needed that reminder because I probably was thinking it was 8.
But I am so thankful there is a Starbucks in the parking lot.
Well, I know you happy about that.
I'm so happy about that. I already had 2. I had one on my way here, and then I had one when I got here.
I'll be making my customary walk after this squad
To get your steps
my
in.
steps in.
Yeah,
Get my
and it's
medicine
really
ball.
not that far. It's not that far.
No, it's not.
I've learned something the last couple of times you and I have hung out, Emil. You are a very healthy eater.
Well,
Just say it.
so if you recall, I don't know if you were in the booth when I was talking about Bree, and I was saying she brings coffee. Yeah, it was us. And I
The one
said
that I didn't get?
Yeah, correct.
Okay. That one.
And I said
I
that
told you to text me.
she helps me, or she makes sure that I eat.
Mm-hmm.
And because she and my wife bowl collegiately around the same time, so they know each other. So we all go way back. And so there's been plenty of times on tour where I just didn't eat, get busy in this job. It happens. And so those two have conferred. And Bree has kind of become my, hey, did you eat? She asked me earlier, hey, you got time to eat, right? So, and because my wife is also a dietitian by trade, and there's health issues and from a family perspective, you're just looking ahead like, all right, you got to take care of yourself. I'm getting old. I have young kids. I got to be around for them.
That's
So
right.
my mindset is different.
Yes.
So, you know, and now I'm eating veggie fried rice.
I saw it. Now I feel like a horrible person.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I just make sure I mean, because, you know, especially the week-long tournaments that we have, like, for example, the U.S. Open, it's a long day. I mean, for me as a bowler, I only bowl, like, the 8-game squad, but, you know, Emil and whoever may be in the booth with them, they're there all, like, you know, from the 8 a.m. squad through the 6 p.m. squad. So when Emil's looking a little run down, I'm like, I think we need to get some food in you.
Yeah, we're doing 18-hour days.
Yeah, so I mean, even you guys need to, you know, take care of yourselves so we can still listen to you guys on here and make sure you're doing good. So
Quick shout out to Mookie Betts, who last night he struggled a little bit. And again, just watching him compete, you know, I think he came in a little bit of a different game plan, even from a ball prep portion, or even to the balls that he used. Saw him try a few things in practice. He tried your thing. Ultimately, I think he was throwing an eternity pie near the track area, and got to 2-team with some great spare shooting.
Yeah.
And that as well. Mark Myers just shot 227 on 11 and 12. And so that's some pretty decent scores here in game one, as D-Ron Booker looking to close things out here with 220, and that'll get him there.
yeah. Yeah, D-Ron was here this morning watching,
Yes, he was.
seeing kind of what's going on. You know, and if you're, you know, it's great that if you know, wanted to watch in bed, you could, because it was on live stream. But just to get as much information as you possibly can. But scores look about the same. There's some good ones. There's some, you know, 2-0s. There's some struggling game ones. So yeah, I think we're still kind of on pace for the scoring pace so far. Through game one at least.
Bree, I know you got to get home. So if you're going to give me your maybe your final thoughts on maybe your expectations for this squad and even tonight. You know, what you would think would happen, and then obviously we'll find out if it does happen.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the cut number goes up a little bit, and I think it's really going to depend on how they transition with this many bowlers. Like game 5 and 6 could be like China. They could be super easy, but they could also get very, very hard depending on the amount of urethane certain players are using and where people started. So I honestly, I wish I had a prediction of what direction it's going to go. I just know I think it's going to be very different than what we've seen the previous 6 squads.
All right, so I know you're bad at cut scores.
I'm bad at cut scores.
Give me one cut score prediction, just one. It's at it was
2, right?
What was it? Plus? It was 2.
+2.
It was +2 coming into this.
I'm going to say 21.
Okay, I think that's solid. I think that's a solid number.
Yeah. My goal going into today was to get to like +50.
Okay.
You exceeded that.
Yeah, thankfully, knock on wood. And
Just so you remember.
but I mean, like I just by looking at scores, I'm like, okay, if I, you know, 100 was like a lot in my opinion, and I was like, okay, if I can get like halfway, I should be good. Like I wasn't gonna bowl if I got to +50. If I was like +20 after this morning, I was gonna bowl again. So that's kind of how my outlook was.
I was gonna say, what
depending on the scoring pace,
what
I'm
was
like,
the
if I
number?
can average like 209, 210, I mean, I think we're good.
For full transparency, I even asked her, are you sure you don't want to bowl again just for brackets and side
I
action?
said, no, I'm good.
I'm like sitting there. I mean, you're so ahead of the number.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll take the rest of 6 games.
Yeah, I would take that.
I think she's looking at the bigger number.
The bigger picture,
the
yeah.
bigger number.
Yeah,
I can respect that.
yeah. You know, got you know, some more games tomorrow in the catcher's round, and then got to get to the top 24. So, still could be a long day of bowling tomorrow.
Well, thank you again for your trust in bowling this tournament.
Yes, thank you for having it. Again.
I hope it's everything that you were wanting it to be, and great demonstration of bowling today.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Have a safe trip.
Thanks, Mio.
Drive
I'll see you in the
safely.
morning.
All right.
All right.
All right, drive safe.
That is Brianna Cote, 2023 U.S. Women's Open champion, 2021 PWBA Player of the Year. She is headed home. She is the overall leader, and she will enjoy some rest tonight and be ready to come back, obviously, in the morning for the cashers round. She will have 4 more games to try to make the top 24. And as we bring Roto Schlim back into the booth, I thought she was 3 for some reason. Bree just said something that I thought, uh-oh, what did Brandy make over there? What did I miss? What did I miss at the bottom right of my screen? Let me check it. Excuse me. When she talked about or mentioning, she's still unsure about how much urethane might play into, how the lanes break down, et cetera, and so forth. And obviously, with this squad being the largest, and so there could be more urethane actually on the lanes than any other squad we've seen, just based on the number or the size of the squad.
Correct.
Which would obviously make things a little bit different in that regard.
Absolutely. And from the looks of it, there's already plenty of folks that started with urethane that are already now bailing off of urethane, and here in the start of game 2. Because again, going like I was just talking to Ari, he's kind of like, oh man, I'm kind of sweating it here. I said, yeah, but it's not necessarily the cut number is going to go up. Yeah, you got more bowlers, but if you're not playing in the right zone, and now as we know, as the week's unraveled here, when you go to the next pair and you didn't get your 10 minutes of practice there, and you didn't get to wall them up or break them down how you wanted, yeah, there's some already people scratching their head here early in game 2.
Carl, before, and I know you're about to get busy, there was a question in the chat. Question about the 6 p.m. squad. Is it first come, first serve?
If you haven't already pre-registered or prepaid, yes.
Okay.
It is first come, first serve.
They asked, I don't know if there was any priority for people who've already, or who are bowling for the first time, or how that versus re-entries, first come, first serve, if you're not already registered.
If you haven't already registered, come on down.
There it is.
It's probably the best thing I can say at this point, because there's going to be bowlers off this squad.
100%. 100%. Okay, I got you. Not a fan. Hopefully that answers that question for you. And if you're in the area,
come on down and watch.
Come on down.
There's a lot of talent out here. A lot of talent in the back.
Yeah, and there's a lot of room on the concourse to stand and watch.
Yeah. Or just sit at home and continue to watch this stream that Emil has graced us with.
It's much better in person.
It is.
It is true.
It is. There ain't no doubt about it. But if you happen to not be able to make it,
true story.
Log on to Bowlstream TV.
But yeah, anyway, back to the point we were making there, Emil. It was on the urethane. Again, there's a couple folks that using urethane, playing in that again kind of zone in front of them. I feel that quite a few of them didn't get far enough right, so that's why they're kind of bailing off of it. Now, I do see a couple that are throwing the urethane that are bound and determined to make it work, and others that have moved farther right. Prime example over there, we've seen him bowl quite a bit, is Tim Simonis using Thane and out off, into that 2-3 zone, especially on that pair. He's got strike, spare, strike over here on 15 and 16. But like I said, some of the others that came across and they put urethane in their hand, they've set it now in the chair behind their pair. Mark Myers here on 7 and 8 had a good first game. He's using Thane, also moved farther right. And again, now he's 3 9 counts in a row. So is he bound and determined to make that work, or is he going to have to feel like he's got to get to reactive to get pins? Again, now it gets into, as we're getting closer, I think we talked about before, once we get through this squad, you'll have the general idea of what the number's going to be. But the fact of he's bowled a couple times and you're seeing other folks out there, how long do you try to make that work, or do you switch, like I said, to reactive to try and get something to carry a little bit better? Again, it's all personal feel and judgment, so there's no right or wrong answer. but those that can play straighter are doing so. Farther to the right, and yes, it is still a same pattern, 42 feet, 35 mils. But again, we've had, well, this is squad 7, so now it's the 8th time technically this pattern's been applied to the lane surface. And as we mentioned, this is the first squad, first qualifying squad, I should say, because the sweeper had it. We got 4 on the majority of the pairs. I mean, we do have some 3s, 3 in a pair, but there are a lot of 4 on a pair. So again, that's going to force the transitions to happen faster, differently. And again, you add bodies and you add balls going down the lane, that could actually slow some people down more too. You know what I'm saying? Like the transitions happen differently, or may cause people to see it different than maybe what they'd seen before, getting accustomed to having 3 or 2 on a pair. So yeah, we'll see how it all shakes out here.
Appreciate you tuning in. And again, Rudy, I just dropped that info you were asking about in the chat in regards to it's a handicap tournament, and I just wrote it right off the flyer. So again, 209 and under, you get 7 a game. If you average 210 or better, and you're a senior, 55 or over, or you're a woman, you get 5 pins a game. And then if you average 210 or more, obviously PBA, PWA member, national or regional titleist, national team member, excluding seniors at 60 and over, you are bowling scratch. And Kevin Strunitzky has got a nice little section here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely has a fan club. So
well, that's cool.
Kind of cool to see.
His son was in the chat yesterday, supporting his dad as well.
Oh, very cool. Yep.
All right, so if you joined us earlier today, we talked with Brandy Calderon, and we talked about B3 performance. And she mentioned her wonderful husband. His name is Michael. And Michael has now joined us here on Bowlstream TV. I call him Mr. Garvey. If you know, you know.
Hi, guys. Don't make me get AA, Ron.
I'm not even going to exactly it. You're like, if you know, I know. Is there a D nice?
I just need to say it again. Say it one more time.
Mike,
but no, we're good to have you. And again, I just want to kind of throw it. And your wife gave you major kudos. I don't know if you were listening earlier. And ultimately, Emil kind of told a little bit of the backstory. You're the man behind the plan. And she talked about you having this idea for the training center and the drawings, and one of these days we're going to get to that. And now you've got to it. And I stopped by the other day, and now Emil stopped by, and man, it's an amazing place. And and like we've talked earlier, it's for the betterment of bowling as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. First off, thank you very much, guys. I mean, it's a ton of input from a ton of people to create B3. But yeah, it was just what I wanted to do, because I just feel like in every athletic sport there is a training facility that specializes in getting people to the next level of whatever activity it is that they want to do, be it basketball, baseball, football, hockey, golf, especially out here in AZ. Mm-hmm. I remember I was looking for a building. There was, I'd gone through a couple golf places, and they were like, yeah, we have a training facility. It's this and this and this. And they had I think I counted 24 nationally accredited golf training places in just the Phoenix Metro Valley.
Holy shnikes.
And I'm like, and we have basically 3 accredited training centers in the country for bowling. I'm like, that can't work.
Right.
So, and it's, in our sport, is global. They're just trying to get football in London, right? This is the NFL. Humongous industry, NFL.
Yeah.
They're just trying to get there, a world audience.
And when we say football, we talk about American football.
For
not,
Belmo, we're
football,
talking,
as we know, those who the round ball that your feet only can touch.
Mate, is that real football, mate? So
we're gonna go have a footy. We're gonna watch the footy. Okay, yeah, sweet.
So for bowling, because we have all of the influx from Singapore and Malaysia and England and all these Middle East and all these places, I'm like, we need to continue growing it. Like, we need to continue getting it out there. So, it was a thought years ago, and I was telling Schlem when he stopped in the story for everybody from where I started, because all these people here that are out here bowling, most of them bowled collegiately, or they bowled out on tour. So they bowled somewhere that was at a different level than just your regular Thursday night league.
Right.
And I did not come from that aspect of bowling. I was playing basketball until somebody called me sir, and I realized that this is not my cup of tea anymore.
You're like,
sir.
All right.
Yes, excuse me, sir. I'm going to go buy you right now. That was pretty much how that went.
I'm going to go. At least he called a shot.
Yeah, he was like, I'm telling you which way I'm going because you can't go there.
He was saying it as he was crossing.
Hey, by the way, just watch this right quick, sir.
Yeah. Sir, do you remember doing this?
I'm going to show you how it's done.
So I started into the bowling world and happened to be around a couple of people at the time, Ed Gallagher from Ebonite and Dave Wadka, and they kind of took me under their wing and showed me some of the bowling stuff on the backside of it, as far as how lanes or how balls are made and all that. And then I fortunately got to go out on tour, and that was humbling because I had no idea what I was doing, and Schlem was out there, and I'm floundering around at a tour stop, and I'm like, I got to go get something to eat. I'm checking flights. I'm going back home. I'm getting yelled at by Jason Couch and everybody else, and I go eat, and Schlem is sitting at a restaurant debriefing himself from the day's work. And he says, hey, Calderon. And I turn around, and there he is. And he says, hey, you got a second? You want to come over here? I came over there, and he goes, do you like constructive criticism? I said, I love constructive criticism. And he's like,
after he's got beat like a punching bag for the last, how long?
He says, these are some of the things that I was told when I started out here that I think might help you moving forward. And it was one of the best conversations to keep me going down the path of more knowledge. So I every time anybody asks me any question about my start to the next level, I always bring up Schlem and Del Ballard, Del Ballard taught me how to deal with some of the elite players and what to say to them. So shout out to
Delmas.
So yeah, it's the training center is great. I mean, it's so fun to play around with patterns and ball motions. And before we had the training center, I would just look at the core dynamics of a bowling ball with your high RG, low RG, and try to mimic whatever I could do to make that fit as a piece into the puzzle for the player, so that they could have a different shape in their eye when they're out on the lanes. Because at the end of the day, coaches coach, players play. And once you get out on that lane, they're going to do what they're going to do. And if you can give them the most tools to play out there, then let their talent do what it needs to do. So I appreciate everybody talking about the training center, and I hope that people can use it for whatever they want to do in the sport, whether it be come out here and bowl this tournament when it's here once a year, or Theo's other tournament that he runs, or if it's to bowl a regional, or if it's even just to get better at league. something to make it consistent, and we'll try to do whatever it is to help you, whether it be bowling balls or lane play or get you in touch with the people that know something about. That's what I'm always striving for, is to get relationships with people all over the industry, so that if you have a question on topography, I can text JJ or Chartrand and say, hey, you guys, what have you seen this type of lane panel with this type of topography? And JJ, being JJ, will always
Absolutely.
say, I'm eating chocolate, but I can give you an
and
idea.
tell you what lane, what country,
Yes.
and the city, and probably the latitude and longitude
Yes.
of that. That's JJ in a short synopsis there. My
in a
man.
nutshell.
He's like, oh yeah, I know, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Where's that at? They're like, well, you have to fly to here, but then you got to take a bus over to here, and then you go to the third house and meet the guy with the horse and carriage.
Yes.
And he takes you over to the bowling center, and you're like,
Oh,
okay, yeah,
that makes sense.
yep.
Quick note, great split conversion from Sarah Klassen.
Yeah.
This is squad number 2, I think, overall for Sarah. And Hope Gramley. They both are bowling, obviously, here, but they bowled last night or yesterday afternoon, one or the other. Sarah, big YouTuber, of course. We talked about her a couple days ago when she was bowling. She had about, I think she's close to 14K, maybe 15K subs. So make sure you go subscribe to her channel after you subscribe to Bowlstream TV.
I was to say, how do
Yeah.
you got to go to those, and then you got to smack that button or pound that button,
Smash
it,
Smash
I don't know,
ring the
smack
bell
it,
or
ring it,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
ding-a-ling.
Ding,
I don't know,
click
yeah,
the
I don't know.
bell so you can turn your notifications on.
Nice.
That's right. That's right, Michael.
I've learned a lot with him
Yeah.
in this stuff here recently.
That's next, I feel like, for B3. And maybe it is. I'm being slightly tongue-in-cheek, but I think that's an avenue, especially with Wesley
Absolutely.
on staff. And that seems like a road you could travel down if you guys wanted to at some point.
Yeah, we definitely are trying to move forward with the IT side of that, because you can't be good at everything. You can be all right at stuff.
Yes.
I don't ever claim to be good at social media or any. I have no idea what.
We heard you hired some construction workers and have yellow tape and cones for your website.
Yes.
Your wife was like, she goes, yeah, that's kind of a construction zone right now.
Yeah, that's.
Gotcha. And trust me, I know all about, we've got in-house team now with our website at Storm, and it is those guys. We've got full-time guys
It's a full-time gig.
on front and back, and with stuff that's out of our control, it's humilities. And those of you who are fans of Storm and logged onto the website recently, we have these, when they do these uploads over the weekend, and it's not our people.
Right.
It's the corporation, the company that has because we merged our front-end website to our inventory system.
Okay.
And they're like, oh, yeah, we did this update. Well, there's times where it'll throw our website back a couple years.
Oh, nice.
And so
people are like, hey.
random balls pop up, and they're like, hey, I saw this on the website. Can I order this? And we're like, what are you talking about?
I saw the mutant cells on there. Can I get this stuff?
It's literally the one that popped up the other day was, we had it. What was that? It was I want to say it was something weird. And it was something from the archive list that moved into it popped I want to say it was like Second Dimension or something.
Wow.
Auto-populated in the front side.
Yeah.
And people, all of a sudden, phones, emails, are
Ding,
like,
ding, ding.
wait, what's going on? And they're like, oh, nope, that needs to go away. So anyway, yeah, you've got to have the right people and the right things when it comes to websites and all the different fronts, backs, ups, downs, any little glitch or anything that could possibly sneak in there. Whew.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into that. A lot. So yes, we're moving forward with that part of it.
Speaking of moving forward, those two looked like they had some fun on that pair. Said no one ever.
Yeah, is that
197, 145.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So
Keep it moving.
Yep.
Keep it moving.
Yeah, we've
What's
got
this gentleman's name?
Two-hander, pretty good shot. I do not. I don't. Do you know this kid right here, lane 11?
Oh man, I've
Piecing
seen
together.
him a million times.
Piecing together a solid game.
Tyler Betts.
I don't know. He's now looking at 220.
Those are good.
And again, 220 is a solid score, making the flip to your second pair. After, again, we've talked about it. You get 10 minutes to kind of shape a pattern and how you want to see it to start. And other folks, okay, so we got the fist pump over here from the left.
Because
he guessed right.
Emil
knows
had.
right.
Yeah.
He knows.
He knows.
I shouldn't say guess. He knows.
Yeah, he knows. That wasn't a guess. That was committed. He was very poignant.
Yeah, he was committed. Yeah. That was a full bore commitment.
That's now making me question it a little bit.
It was just my look. This is just what I look like.
Well, I'm pretty sure that's Tyler Betts. He went to UT Southern.
Okay.
And if you're familiar with that program, it was a great collegiate program that unfortunately had to end. And if you heard that story, Bob Lerm was the coach of the men's team, and then why's my guy's Coach Bill was coaching the women's team. Anyway, these are top 5 programs, and I think it was either maybe some funding and various reasons the program had to end last season.
It was funding and something with the AD and whatever the deal.
It was terrible.
Then it turned into, and I don't know if you guys saw this tidbit, because I just happened to see it not long ago, the post on social media of, even though that team does not exist anymore, they were still projected in the top 5 for the rankings this year. There was a little accident in the publication. Wow. But anyway, yeah, unfortunately, even though college bowling is growing exponentially, and it's one of the fastest growing sports in the college ranks due to, a lot of things. It was Title IX. Okay. But then it now recently with these NIL things, the deal, extra money and funding, they're like, hey, we're going to shuffle this, do that. And, so it's fastest growing. I mean, it's crazy. I may mention this, the number of college teams just 5 years ago, like pre-COVID, just before COVID, to what it is now. Yeah. I mean, it's basically doubled in size. It's crazy right now. And the same thing's happening. We're seeing it. And I guess that's something I could ask you. Speaking of the training center, and spawn another question. High school bowling, junior high bowling, is that a thing here?
Not really.
Okay.
No, it's pretty rough here for any type of junior programs. We have there's a few junior programs that have kind of started or that have been going. One's at Brunswick Mesa, which is a big league center.
What I'm asking, though, is like in the Midwest, it's where it started.
It's huge, yeah.
High school bowling. Yeah. So the high school has a team, kids go try out, just like if they're playing football or basketball or volleyball or whatever. So, and that's what I explained to people. Like, I said, you get out west. I said, California, same thing, California. There's nothing, right? High school bowling. Yeah. And a couple weeks ago, Emil and I were in Iowa for the Midwest Youth main event. Yeah. And, all the high school bowling and down around those parts, every school's got it, and some of them are now getting to junior high. So we're talking 5th, 6th graders, and now that's a possible sport.
Bowling.
But anyway, that was going to segue into, and you kind of touch upon it with the youth leagues around here. I got thinking about your training center, and when you gave me a tour, explaining the classroom and different things, that turns into a space or a location where you can teach coaches or teach teachers. Yeah. And I was just thinking of the deal of that would be ideal for if you had high school or junior high bowling, because a lot of times in those places, I can tell you, like my niece is on a team back home. She was anchor when she was a freshman. Okay. Kind of thing, but it was the deal of, hey, by the way, the coach is the science teacher, or the coach is the, math teacher. Yeah. They're like, hey, I bowled once in college, hanging out with my friends, or hey, I bowled once on with my family on Thanksgiving. So they're like, oh, you're the head coach.
You know more than everybody else in the building.
Correct. So so it turns into, is that, I don't know, like I said, it was something I thought of earlier. Like, that would be an ideal spot to help, because we see it all too often, especially high school coaches who need to learn a little bit more. Right. Maybe they don't know about the USBC coaching curriculum, the different, the different levels, level 1, level 2, level 3, and that kind of stuff. So, but let's ask you that. I mean, is that something that you've thought about? I mean, because you've now got Brett, you've got Wesley. Is that you maybe create a coaching curriculum that maybe you can help some others that want to get into that?
Yeah,
or
I think that would be. I think it's going to be, I wouldn't say easier, because it's still, you have to create
content. You got to create the what do you call the?
That would probably be easier than trying to do the drill school stuff. Like, because I had talked to Russ Wilson, and I've talked to a couple of other,
Yeah, like Hank and Alex are actually going to Innovative this week to teach the Innovative class.
Yeah, exactly.
Innovative, they've got, and I haven't yet to be there for one of those. And Hank and I recently talked about it. He's like, Shalom, we probably need to get you out to one of those because they've got 55 people signed up as the max capacity.
Yep.
And they've got I think there's 50 drill presses. I mean, it's a full blown, and Hank, like Hank said, he goes, because it was him and Mo Pinnell that were teaching those over time.
Yeah.
And it was a deal of Mo would teach the one like in the spring or fall, and Hank would teach the opposite one.
Right.
And he's like, man, he goes, we got some of these people that have been to 10, 12 of these now.
Yeah.
Because there's always something new to learn.
It's never ending. You always learn.
And exactly what you and I have talked about over the years. We've been friends a long time.
Yep.
And I was telling folks at home in the chat, it's like, if you ever meet somebody that comes up and says, well, I know everything about bowling,
walk away.
Run the other way, because those of us that have been around forever and know, I mean, obviously been very fortunate to meet, and know, God rest his soul, obviously Mo Pinnell and some of these other, and Jowdy and all these guys I've got to know and work with over the years. They didn't even know everything.
No, and they would tell you.
They would say, especially Uncle Mo being as ingenious and in forward thinking as he was. So you're like, oh, this and that, and then finally get to a spot where, maybe we could probably talk about that, try and figure that out a little bit more, and again, there's times where exactly, and that was cool you say that, talking about your training center and understanding ball motion. Now you get to see it, play around with it.
Yeah.
We do the same thing at Storm, bro. Like there's times we do a ball test and we look at each other and go, what? Huh, why did I do that?
That was weird.
And then you you break it, dissect it, and go, so that's why this did this back in 2002 or in, 96 when remember this ball and this kind of team.
And why we couldn't figure
out
why
it didn't make sense at the time, but now it does.
Yep.
Because it's that never-ending process. So.
Yeah, it's crazy, and just being on a tour, we would see being there when we got there early to do whatever work we had to do prior to the round starting. You'd sometimes catch the lane guy, and you'd go up there and talking with him, and I was always fascinated by the machines and just what Kegel can do, and some of the other manufacturers are starting on now. But
the crazy part is, think about that then, bro, compared to what all those have done now. And I brought that up the other day too, especially with Kegel, because we just got a new Atlas machine.
Yeah, the Atlas, baby.
At Storm, but the number of oils they have and the different strippers and cleaners, and it's like, okay, exactly. Well, then it's like, okay, well, now Brunswick's in the game with their lane machine they use on tour. Well, I have to get their variety of oils.
And that's different,
and it applies oil a different way, and all these different things.
It's the other part of the
to
game,
the puzzle.
That you don't know until you know, right?
Yep.
Like from the foul line to the head pin, there's so much that is unknown that you just have to use due diligence and kind of throw a ball out there and see what the lane gives you. But the more that you can figure out, okay, well, these are SPL panels, so they're going to be a higher friction than a Pro Avalane panel. And the install was done 10 years ago, and this place has
it's different than
2,000
this
leak
generation
bowlers.
of HPL or this HPL or this Pro Avalane or this Pro Avalane with the glow track, because we know that batch of something had this in it and blah, 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 blah. And people are like, what are you talking about right now?
Are you speaking a different language?
We're nerds.
Yes. And it's so crazy to, with the Brunswick machine, it has the capability of applying oil a certain way. That's different than the Kegel machine, but you can mimic it by doing a few tricks with the Kegel machine.
But not really.
But
I mean,
only with the forward apply versus doing the reverse apply.
And so, in case of those of you at home are wondering, and we can explain it for what it is, because those guys will tell you the same thing. The Brunswick machine, it's foul line to head pin. The Kegel machine is foul line, head pin, back to the foul line. So it's two ways, and that's why there's two tanks. And we reference it every time we talk about the pattern. It's 42 feet, 35 mils, curve, both front and back. So there's no layered effect from the different kinds of oil.
Right.
So, for those, because again, we've had some really great interactions in the chat this week. So
it's awesome when you start looking at the different viscosities of their oils. When you have ice oil, if you have a high friction surface, if you have fire, if you have a brand new install, just
command, terrain, curve,
terrain, curve,
all the other.
And then you, like
Prodigy.
you said, then you overlay them, right?
Yes.
So you run fire forward and then you run ice back, or
or vice versa.
or vice versa.
And you change where you move around the 2-2s and you do all this different stuff. And so you get to play with that at the training center.
It's awesome.
It is.
It's awesome. I can watch the drop brush and then variable speed brush motor, so you see it go super fast and then you see it go slow. And when you know where it goes slow, it's applying more to the lane. It's just I just walk up and down the lane and just watch the machine.
All right.
Yeah. And hope that nothing breaks on it.
You're like, because it's your playground, it's
Yeah.
your sandbox.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
I hope this is the expensive fix. So here's we start game 3 of 6. We got a couple folks with some doubles here. I was going to make mention, we've got Eileen right here in front of us again, and she is doing what she did yesterday. I looked at her, I go, what are you bowling? She's like, well, my friend's bowling. And she's like, well, I had another squad, so I'm going to
here.
bowl. Yeah, she ended up, so yesterday she was 70 over, and me and your wife talked about it. You know, she was 70 over, and she had 169 her last game.
Oh, wow.
And still was 71
Still
over.
70.
Yeah. So she found a little thing from outs where she was using it, and she brought it to our attention, and we saw it, but she just further solidified or confirmed it, that what people are seeing as the OB or the kind of the waffling, she's using it as hold.
Okay.
And I noticed her last game, she had a pretty decent game, I think 220 maybe.
Right.
I was looking at some possibly that. But she's playing out and using that
Exotic.
to her advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, using exotic. And she said yesterday she did that across the house, just balled up, balled down as she need to.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty straightforward approach right there.
Yep. And like I said, she took advantage of what she saw yesterday. And, you know, we talked about it. I mean, obviously he's probably firmly in the cut at, you know, the 71 over.
Yeah.
You know, potentially because, well, again, we don't know because we still got more bowling to go. But
Right.
like we've made mention, after this squad, we'll have a general idea of what it's going to take ballparkish.
Yeah, it probably
of what
won't really
that line
get
is.
too moving after this squad. This is a pretty
Yeah.
big squad. You
It
got
is.
one to go. Everybody's probably here now since I think you have to bowl, 2 of them to be able to bowl
The Desperado.
Yeah, so this is kind of moving day per se.
Yeah,
to where that
absolutely.
number.
Mike, I got a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
One, are you kind
Who
of
does
like
your hair? No. Oh, that's a different one. Oh, sorry.
Wow.
Only half of it.
Are you
Horseshoe.
are you kind of in coach mode, if you will, for Brandy? To a degree.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean,
Okay.
now that we have the facilities, she goes in there and plays around. Like I'll mess up some shots and tell her to go in and practice on it for a while, but not really. We're okay, husband and wife coaching, but it's probably the same as Hank and Lindsay. It's probably the same as Chris and Linda.
Okay, because she kind of, all right, she said a little bit
She
of that
referenced
earlier.
that.
Yeah, I mean, we bowl all right together. Like as far as I don't bowl very much, but if we bowl a doubles event, it's fine because it is what it is. But I don't really try to stay behind her and coach too much because then it's well my physical game. I'm like, well, no, I mean, you just do that one bad. Like sometimes you just throw it bad. Like it's, but like you ain't saying that. Like come on.
And, you know, it's funny.
I'm happily married.
You
like-
know, and honestly, that it's funny. The names you referenced. I've been the neutral party.
Yes.
In all of those.
in all of those. Yes.
You know, and again, it's one of those things. You know, obviously, like with Lindsay winning the Queens this year, it was one of those things. And I made mention the other day. It was one of the last things Bill had done before he ended up passing here recently. It was presenting her. He wanted her to have one of those framed bowler's journals. Actually, a big plaque.
Yeah, yeah.
And, you know, she gave me a big hug. And she's like, thanks for all the help and all the coaching downstairs. And a lot of times it was her and Hank working together, and it'd be like, Hank's like, hey, man, you got a minute? I need you to come down.
Yeah.
And it
tag
could be,
in.
and tag in. And it could be, I explain it the exact same thing, but it's a different voice.
person. Yep.
Or maybe have to spin it a little bit different.
Yeah.
Or maybe just see something different. And, you know, and trust me, there's plenty of times I can date back to another one. I'll never forget, it was in Reno for the Queens or something. And Chris and Linda, you know, Linda had already been with our staff and left, and they were, I think, Columbia at the time.
Okay.
And,
Was that when we were outside on the Queens that was on Reno Street or whatever?
on the dirt track?
Yeah.
I
Was it
don't
that
remember.
one? Okay.
It was just the deal of the girls. It was early because a lot of girls they just came back from Team USA camp.
Okay.
And Chris walks over to me and he's like, because I went to their wedding, you know,
Right,
like I've known her a long time. And he goes, Schlem. I'm like, yeah, CB, what's up? He goes, can you fix my wife? And I'm like, I go, what happened? Did you break her or something? He goes, nope. Yeah. He goes, all I'm going to say is camp. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, yeah, I've been in a lot of those deals of, husband tries to, he's like, hey, can you fix my wife?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, bro. I'm, like, again, I'm the, I guess you would call me, Switzerland, I guess?
Yeah.
I'm friends with everybody, friends with them all, but I'm like,
neutral.
okay, how can I smooth this situation out between the two of you so you sleep in the same bed at night?
That is the key. Going to the hotel is a rough, eventually you're alone. All right.
Hey, you're sleeping in the car tonight. Not even to let you in the bathtub. You're sleeping in a rental car.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, it is. That is a different dynamic in our game, the husband and wife.
From the on-lane perspective, as much as you've been able to watch prior to hopping on, and even now, did you have any? And you were here yesterday, 2 days ago, one or the other.
I came for the sweeper.
Right.
Yeah.
And different look, obviously, certainly on the sweeper.
Not as many people going.
But did you have any, like, based on what you've seen a little bit and what you're seeing now, did you have any thoughts or expectations on where you thought people should be playing or might be successful, based on the details that we know of? 42 feet, 34.5 mils, even I guess down to the oil for those who are knowledgeable in that regard.
I think I always put it into two factors. Like, it's always difficult. I try to tell people that when you see stuff on tour and you're watching those guys on tour, they're all chameleons. So like they're looking at at least I'm going to speak for myself. When I had guys on staff, they would say, who's bowling good? And if it was, let's say, Rash or Norm, then somebody like Chris would say, okay, well, I have to play out. So give me the balls that's going to let me play there, right? Because they're going to work to their strengths. And they're usually good at pretty much everything, but they like to do a certain thing. Mm-hmm. Or they'd say, oh, it's Belmo or it's Fagan. Okay, well, they're hooking it, right? So now you need to hook it. And then they'd go into that mode. But like us normal humans that do this sport, I feel like at first you have to figure out what you can do really good the most times over, right? Yes. And then that's what I do. Now let me see where everybody's playing. This type of pattern, you could do the 31, P minus 31 theory to kind of get you started, right? But at the end of the day, you still have to kind of play what the lane gives you. So like me, because I've bowled at this bowling center, I know that this place is higher friction, and I would probably try to trap it anywhere on this pattern from like maybe 13 to, let's say 9, 13 to 8, right in that tube right there. And I would just kind of keep balling down until I had to get out of that, because I feel like that's going to give me the best. I'm not going to be able to throw a urethane ball with 500 rev rate up 5. Like I'm not Cortez. I can't do that, right? Or Darren Tang. And I'm not going to really get in and slow curve it like Matt Jones, I think, was doing, and a few others that can do that. So my strength is trying to keep the ball in front of me and then just moving my speed up or down. So to me, I think like this young lady's doing with her ball, that's probably her A game. Mm-hmm. And now she's just figured out what my A game can do on this pattern, and I'm going to play it like this. And is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. She's in the number. Right. So there's probably 140 people that aren't in the number that
probably go, man, I probably should think about how, give it a look-see at least. And that's the whole thing of kind of that Bermuda Triangle, if you will, and we're seeing it in front of us. Folks, like you said, that zone that you mentioned, it is playable because we've seen people play in that spot. Yeah. But again, you have to, and even it doesn't matter if you're playing there or out like Eileen or if you're even going to go in and kind of get it to kind of set tumble. Yeah. You have to be able to manipulate it and make it do a certain thing. Yes. I mean,
and that's how, like, if I'm not good at trying to go around it and get soft with it, like if I can do it 4 shots, but I have 12 I have to make, what can I do for 8.5 shots to 9 shots? And then my misses hopefully are makeables that I can not get in trouble with, rather than super washouts or, grandma's teeth or stuff like that.
I like that explanation. Good shot there from Tim Simonis. Got Christine Johnson down here. Chris Mays, I saw his mom earlier. Carson Opella, he's bowled a couple times now. Chris has bowled a couple times now. We saw, I think, Brian Hernandez bowled last night. Robbie Patterson has moved down to 7 and 8 with a little bit of a better run. He's had some tough starts like these last couple of games, though, like the first frame specifically. Have been a little difficult.
He went from Thane to reactive to Thane. So again, I don't know if that's by strategy or by what he's seeing as he gets to that pair.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick look at the scores. Speaking of that, the scores, as I mentioned, updated after 2, and a name that certainly would expect to see near the top. Anthony Simonson, plus 97.
That's weird.
Carson Opella, plus 81.
My man says, oh, that's weird.
It's weird.
Carson Opella shot 277, so that's the second highest game
Yeah,
of the
because we had a
tournament.
279 last night.
Yeah, 279 last night. Mark Myers, who was pretty solid earlier today, he's plus 50 after 2. Eileen Linares, who we're watching now, just talking about, plus 48. Michael Fitzgerald, plus 45. Josh Williams, that's my man, Josh Williams right there, plus 43. Michael Haugen Jr. plus 39. Riley Haw and Justin Sims at plus 35 respectively. And Tyler Betts confirmed. Tyler Betts at plus 28. We've got
It's a fair amount of pluses.
19 players even or plus.
And we're talking about
through 2 games.
The other cool thing about this event and the number of people that traveled in. Briley, for example, which I've met a couple years ago, he lives in Minnesota.
Oh, Briley Howe.
Yep.
Yeah, that's our boy Bean's brother.
Yeah, he said his brother lives out here. And I go, dude, are you lost? He's like, no, my bro lives out here. And
Is
I'm
that
like,
Brennan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I go, all right, cool. And he goes, plus, I figured, why not bowl? I go, well, yeah, there's 10 grand to win.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you guys have seen volleyball. He throws it pretty good.
He throws it good. Yeah.
Again,
He's
a product
somewhere
of
nearby, so he might be making his way.
the modern college bowler, if you will.
I would agree. I just saw, Mike, your note or question. I had to step out and go tape something down. So as far as players in this squad, this is certainly on paper the most talented squad as a whole.
Okay. Oh, for sure.
It's also the largest squad
Yes.
of the tournament so far, with one full squad to go, and that's tonight at 6 p.m. Local, 9 Eastern. So I just heard me say Anthony Simonson. He's in the field. Simonson, Michael Haugen. And I'm starting with names who most people might be familiar with at a national level. Hope Gramley, PWA Rookie of the Year. Kyrene Acuff, who finished 3rd in that Rookie of the Year race this year.
And made the Queen show.
And made the
she made the Queen show.
Thank you very much.
Did she make another show as well?
Almost.
Or she came close.
Almost.
She was like,
did.
6th or something maybe. So, yeah, she had a great year on tour this year.
D-Ron Booker, the most recent regular doubles, so one half of the regular doubles champions. He got himself an eagle in July. And then from a local or even just to the state level that I know, right, and people that I've seen already just throughout this tournament, Matt Jones, Kevin Jenkins is bowling for the first time today.
Okay.
Brett Wolf is bowling. I should say for the first time in the tournament, but Brett Wolf is bowling. He's bowling a couple times. Who else? Derek Acuff, Dylan Taylor. Maybe the most famous person of all. With all due respect to our wonderful sports, Mookie Betts is bowling from a famous in that regard. Mookie is bowling. In fact, Mookie's now bowled multiple squads, including the sweeper. So there are a few names certainly in this chat.
He loves bowling.
Extremely talented.
That's an understatement, bro.
Loves bowling. Loves bowling.
I hope Jess is watching, because Jess Simonis, that is, to give you some context. Jess has been watching Tim throughout every squad, and Tim has been right there a lot of times in most of the squads that he's bowled. Let's go to the overall standings again here. We are up to, where are we at? Saturday? Today's Saturday?
Today's Saturday.
Okay.
What is today again? It's a day that ends in Y.
Yeah.
So
especially for you guys.
100%. So Bree, of course, if you joined us earlier, went 93 over today. Earlier, I should say.
Overall leader now?
To take the overall lead. Followed by Dave Sirigliano. Shout out to Bowling Dynamics.
Yes.
Robert Smith went 85 over yesterday, earlier in the day. Cortez got to plus 73 last night. Eileen against 71 over. Zach Schroeder was solid, 69 over. He bowled squad 1 along with Dave Sirigliano. Matt Zwei got to 60 over last night. Wesley Lowe got to 51 over, I believe, on Thursday afternoon. Kyle Duster got to 48 over last night. Bobby Campanelli got to 44 over last night or afternoon. And the number, I think it's moved a little bit. I'll confirm with Theo on that. But specifically, where's my guy? So Tim Simonis is 31 over.
Okay.
At the moment.
Okay.
Seems like a pretty good number at this point in the tournament. Seems like. We don't know yet, obviously, but that's why he's still bowling.
Anything is possible.
Even, by the way, is 27th, just to kind of give you a roundabout or some additional context. You start thinking about it's a 1-in-5 cut ratio to the cashers round.
Okay.
And currently there are, we'll now have 183 players or entrants, if you will, in that regard. So there's a few more spots that will be available to the cashers round, which will help a lot of people make that number. Mike, we're gonna keep you for a few more frames. Your mind is so smart.
I wouldn't say that.
No, it's smart. I mean, you just can't put a building together like that without having some kind of smarts. Built the whole facility.
He had Crayola's and construction paper.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean it was a nice napkin. Like
Yeah, that's what, was it like a banquet type napkin or?
no, it was
like a bar.
Yeah, it was a bigger one. It was like longer
Okay.
because I know I needed more length for the lanes, so I had to use one of the longer
napkins.
napkins.
Gotcha.
Yeah, square napkin wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, too small.
Too small.
Too much limitation.
Yeah.
I want to get both of your opinions on this, and Slim, obviously we've been talking about it throughout, but now that Mike is here, I just want to see if things may differ ever so slightly based on
Doubt it. Schlem's the smartest person I know.
how you might throw it.
Not even close.
Mike, I'll start with you. Ball choice, what we just talked about and how you might attack it. What pieces of equipment do you think, based on what you've seen, would or could be best? I'm obviously not painting you into a corner on what works, because we've seen a lot of stuff go
We've seen
down
a
the
variety.
line.
Yeah.
I think if I had to base it off this squad, where there's going to be more players versus some of the other squads that only had 20 people, so you don't have as many balls going down the lane, I would have probably started in that spot with a bigger ASIM ball with a little bit of surface on it, because it's easier for me to throw it firmer than it is for me to try to get softer with it. So I'd rather know that that ball is going to pick up in that spot. And then once I flat 10 a couple times on a good shot, I would probably go to maybe a symmetrical solid that maybe has like 3,000. That was a nice drop on lane 10.
You saw that?
Yeah.
I'm like, I was watching the ball reaction. I'm like, something just came out of the sky.
I'm going to have my mechanic on lane 10 knocking down pins for me.
It wasn't Superman.
Yeah. And then I would probably go to something symmetrical that was probably at like 3,000, so it still had a little bit of surface on it, but not super shiny. Shiny balls to me are probably a little too quick on this type of pattern because it's flatter. 6 games, you could probably get half those games with the 2 to 3 games with the bigger ball, and then just keep going down into symmetrical balls. But I would still have probably lower RG balls. Like, I wouldn't be doing anything, for me anyways, that's 255 and higher. I'd still be in 248, 250, medium diff balls.
Nice shot, Tim.
And funny you bring that up, and you just talked about the type of ball on the surface, and we got a reference back to Bree this morning, what she was able to do with the Summit.
Okay.
Lane shined.
Oh yeah, that makes
And
in 14, so it's a little higher, but not. It's low
still,
for her.
It's still below 250.
Yeah.
But it was the deal of because Emil goes, oh, it's a shiny Summit, and then we found out after the fact, like, oh, it's just lane shine. Like, it was really lane shine.
Yeah.
But for her, that created that. Just that little push of what she was looking for, because she tried some bigger balls and she was like, it just got to be a little too early because of her slower ball speed and the way she, her little flip off her hand. So, I think that's the other part, like she explained to the folks. It's understanding your bowling balls and know either how to manipulate them or know that you've got balls drilled, and that's the other part too. And you and I, obviously, on the drilling side of it, trying to explaining that, hey, you'd actually. In most cases, and obviously something like this, in reference to our system at Storm, like the pin buffer, get the pin a little bit closer to the VAL to force the core forward, so it lets you keep your angles more in front of you. Because when you look at all those people who rattled off on the top, there wasn't any person that was giving it away. All the angles were in front of them. Whether you were using urethane, reactive, high rev rate, low rev rate, surface, no surface, lane shine, whatever, the angles were in front of you. So you want to make sure the core is tumbling and going forward. And one way to create that is for the cores to be closer to your VAL to make it transition forward and not want to change direction.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people sometimes there is I believe there is different bags for different stuff. Like you're not taking your 5-inch pin, super whippy ball and bowling on this. Like you're going to make yourself go crazy because the ball is going to do 19 different things. So, but you would never probably do, for instance, like a 2-inch pin on a typical house shot where you have 10 to 1 and you're like, well, this ball doesn't do anything. Well, it does what it's supposed to do when it's supposed to do it.
Correct.
And this isn't the time it's supposed to do it. So, I think a lot of times people will drill, but drill with a purpose instead of just drilling to drill.
Correct.
And that was.
And you referenced it just the same way I have. It's puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
And sometimes
60 feet of puzzles.
Yeah, or I refer to it as a picture window and building a picture window, and you're putting the pictures in those particular pockets in that and obviously in a picture window. Yeah, you get in this case, the mid lane is always your biggest spot, and it's easier to put stuff in there.
Yeah.
But then we start talking about that. What about that zone ahead of the mid lane? And
how
people
do
look at you and they go, what? And they're like, okay, how do we get to that zone back of the mid lane? And they go, I don't even know what you're talking about right now. And they're like, okay, well, but no, seriously. I mean, and it's one of those things of, again, part of the learning process and explaining to others and spreading, just our knowledge and stuff we've learned and continue to learn of how to help people see that or understand, well, why does this ball do that? Well, okay, well, it's transitioning here.
Right. And this is what it's going to do.
Correct.
And that I use that a lot with Specto, because with Specto I can show people, okay, so this is your favorite ball and you like it, and this is why you like it, because it's slowing down in this part of the lane. This is the skid phase of it, and you're bowling on a pattern that's 35 feet. So it's skidding to where it's supposed to get, then it's getting into its roll phase, then it's going to hook. All those facets of the ball that you don't get to see, because like we were talking about earlier, when you throw a ball, your eye is going to pick up whatever it needs to pick up. So using that technology and the tools anywhere you can use those, Specto, I think is great to kind of fill in your bag and your spots, because if you throw your 3 favorite balls and all of a sudden you put it on Specto and ball comparison and they're all doing the exact same thing, and you go, well, I'm struggling. Okay, well, give me an Abralon pad. And you bang one of them, and they're like, well, I would never do that. Okay, but try it before you tell me you'd never do it. And then they throw it, and they go,
oh, that's way better.
Oh, that's way better. Oh, the ball shapes now correct. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Right.
It's cool. So.
Absolutely.
Mike, I'm getting the wink. That's the hook, because my comedy show is over.
Well,
who said that? I didn't see nothing.
It wasn't the Apollo. We didn't boo you off the stage. The Sandman did not come out.
My man.
Huh. That's weird.
Anthony Simonson, 290.
That's weird.
We're being told.
It's odd. It's odd.
Mike, as I told Brandy, earlier. Really, really, man, extremely proud.
Oh, he's going to be
I
wheeling.
really am. Really, extremely proud of you.
I can't
Congratulations.
thank you guys enough for allowing us to come in and talk about it, and this event is this is just the start. Like that, everybody starts somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
So this is the start of what it is, and it's only going to get better. I mean, Carl is
And bigger.
Yeah, Carl will reach out to the people he needs to reach out to, and listen to the people that he trusts that could make other options happen, and it's just going to be bigger and better. But for this event to be the first time to have an event like this in our valley, where our valley is basically golf only. I mean, we don't have these events. This isn't St. Louis. This isn't the Midwest. This is Phoenix,
it's not
Arizona,
in Milwaukee or
Yeah,
New
like this-
Jersey or
Detroit, right?
No,
This
or even
isn't-
and Texas or Florida.
Texas,
I mean,
yeah.
There's so much stuff going on. Obviously, the Texas, the DFW. Now
Yeah.
that they've merged Dallas and Fort Worth, that's now the biggest membership body in the United States.
Right.
Here you're like, how many golf places
yeah.
you were talking?
Yeah.
Certified golf places, 24.
24
Just
nationally accredited golf
just
training
here in the-
facilities in
within
just
a
the valley.
Hour and a half.
Yeah, we haven't even
Window.
said Tucson yet. Nothing about Tucson.
Tucson
So, I mean, I think
down yonder.
you guys just need to stay, everybody that's listening, and share the links and everything, but just keep this open, because Carl will
We've
probably
already,
be.
I will tell you, and this is one to throw at Carl, as other people are learning and it's being shared across the platforms. One of our buddies and guy we've known a long time, all of us here, Vernon Peterson.
Yeah, Vernon.
But, because part of the Harvey crew, Ari's
Yep.
here and stuff like that, and Vern's like, oh, I'm there next year.
Yeah.
So he's already made that known, I think, to a couple of folks, and he's like, well, this is a thing, so I'm going to come bowl.
Yeah.
And you're going to get more of those guys that
Oh.
once they hear about it, and now
Yeah, now it's on the calendar.
And obviously, like Carl and I talked to, not that people didn't realize it was legit,
Right.
but it's legit. They're seeing it,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, this is a thing.
Yeah.
Like, perfect. It's
Yeah.
now on the calendar.
Yeah, and
So-
and I mean it's we were talking about when you had first landed. It's a little bit hotter than it should be at this time of the year, but I don't know how you wouldn't want to be anywhere in the country and not come out to Phoenix in late October, November time, because it's Fantasy Island out here. It's always sunny. Always sunny. Just
Just
sometimes
like in
it's hot.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's just like
Oh,
Philly.
that's a TV show or something.
Just like
I was
Philly.
going to say that's a good way to end Mike's time.
Yeah.
I might use that in a clip somewhere. It's always sunny.
Always sunny. So I appreciate you guys and everything that.
And hold on, the only way that you can use that is if you put his face and him holding a clipboard
Oh, I'll snap a clipboard right
with
now.
it with,
Aaron.
on a T-shirt that says "It's always sunny." Don't make me snap this.
Don't
clip.
make
Then
me
we got
snap.
to sell that B3.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll send you one.
He said he goes,
I'll-
sign me up. I'm in.
I'll hang anything you want in that place.
That's great.
Anything
It's all
you
about
want.
co-marketing here, folks. It's spreading the wings. It's diversifying your business structure.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it might be one of those things where I'm gonna get with Carl once his.
He can print 'em. He's got the print facility.
Head calms down after this event, because there's a lot that went into this that is going into it.
Mm-hmm.
So once he sleeps for a month and gets caught back up on a little bit of sleep, then yeah, we'll chit chat about some things that we want to do
Yeah.
to be
Potential.
along with the ride on this thing, because
Potential.
this is awesome. This is absolutely an awesome event, and good people, and I can't wait to see more good people.
We appreciate you, Michael.
Yeah, I'm gonna go chuckle between. Go down and look at Ant and go, really, bro?
That's all you got.
Really? It's 290. That's all you got for us? So I appreciate you guys. Thank you for
No,
everybody.
we appreciate you, man.
Thanks,
and
Mike.
thank you for all
And,
you do for the sport.
Yeah, man.
And again, like we talked about, we're bowling is one big family. We do this together because we want to see it grow
Yeah.
and move forward.
Absolutely. You guys have a good rest of your night, and holler if you need anything.
Yes, sir. We'll
Thanks,
do.
Mike.
Thank you, guys.
There's Michael
And-
Calderon.
And catching some.
I just have one question. What do we need to do to get you to show up?
Ooh. Listen, that's funny because this is the first of time I've been in a bowling center and not my own bowling center, but in a bowling center in probably a year and a half. So
Now that is the one thing that makes me feel good right there.
That speaks volumes in itself, right?
I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
the biggest ass hug.
Yeah.
Because I never get to see you.
yeah, I don't go down to leagues and I don't go to tournaments around the valley. It's just I got to have one day.
That's the biggest compliment you can pay.
And so but to see this event the way it is, this Carl and everybody that's involved with this has hit this out of the park. So I had to come down and check it out because it's just like Schlem said, it's a big family. So, this is only the start. And that I know it's a lot of work, and Carl, like I said, is going to need some sleep. But then he's got 10 months to think about how Agent Ong 2 is going to be bigger, badder, and
It's probably more like 72 hours.
yeah, probably, yeah, well, yeah,
72
it's a
hours.
true statement. All right, guys,
All right,
thank
Mike.
you.
All right, brother. Thanks, man. And catching some of the scores here, we covered a lot of different stuff there.
Blowing us up, man. That's awesome.
Thanks, brother. A lot of 2-0s here left and in front of us. And again, we got some folks that are some up and downs. The scores not, obviously we mentioned Anthony Simonson, who's actually coming down here to our left, it looks like. Simo, again, is next level when it comes to talent and skill. But the rest of the folks, again, finding their little spot. Those that have bowled multiple squads, finding what works for them, changing some balls. And Emil, you mentioned it earlier. Talked to somebody who was going to go drill some balls to get ready for this squad. And again, the ups, the downs, hey, I'm going to use a bigger ball. Yeah, and there's a prime example right there. It looks like a bigger ball with either lane shine or shine on it in a regular gem, and right next to him you got somebody throwing sanded thane, So,
Sorry.
but again, it's the options that are there.
Obviously with more people on this squad, we get a chance to see whether or not it was going to happen. If there were some other philosophies that maybe hadn't come into play yet, just because those players hadn't yet bowled. Maybe someone thought of something that someone else wasn't doing, which to a degree is always kind of the name of the game. And sometimes in bowling, a lot of times it's let's repeat. Let's find a way to do what that player did, like Josh Williams, who's getting that hit today. He's getting that hit that he wasn't getting 2 days ago. Or sometimes it's that one person who is doing something that literally no one else is doing or able to do. And they find something and they say, all right, this is it. This is what I'm going to do today. That's got to hook a little.
So we talked about Simo coming down here, and he is using Thane. He is playing out by the gutter, so it's a touch and feel for him. And if memory serves me right there, because I glanced over, and we'll see if he makes a change. Well, he's going to clear some deadwood right now. And what's cool about Simo is the kids spent plenty of time in a bowling center, and obviously they get a great team here at Bowlero, Kyrene, but one of those deals was a machine broke, he'd be like, I can go back and fix it. Like, he legit would run back there and have it fixed in like less than 5 minutes.
That's
like
good to have.
He knows his way around all the different pin spotters. And we were talking about something one day, and he goes, oh yeah, he goes, well, he was at Storm last week. We did some video stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, it's on this. He goes, it's something with the, I don't know, something happened, and he's like, because I don't quite know it fully. He goes, but I'm going to guess it's this, or this. And we all looked at him like, how do you know that? You goes, you're better. I go, you're better on A2s. He goes, yeah, but I worked on everything. I'm like, okay. So anyway, he's got the pitch black, and he is doing a little up the channel action.
There is bottom right on your screen. Well, what did I say last night before we went off the air?
There's always a tournament leader.
Yes, but that wasn't it. Oh, not what I'm referring to. We were teasing the players who were going to be bowling.
Yeah.
And then based on how people were having success with urethane and playing out.
Yep.
I mentioned 2 names. GT2.
Yep.
Anthony Simons.
Yep.
If that's there, either of them could have a day. He could be on his way. He's halfway to a day already at this point. And I think GT is supposed to bowl or should bowl tonight.
Next squad, probably.
Yes, he is signed up for the 6 p.m. squad.
Okay. So, again, I always caution myself, and Slim, I think you would probably agree, that when you see players like Simo and Brianna Coche all the time, right? You get used to seeing what they do on a daily basis.
Yeah, you.
But you try not to.
I guess in my case, I can tell you from my perspective of being a rep and still to this day, times where I help both of them, whether it's physical game, mental game, drilling balls, whatever. I guess in my case, I don't second guess it. It's just I kind of expect it.
No, that's the point. Exactly.
It's kind of like, oh, you expect it, and then, then you help them talk through it. Like, okay, so why did you struggle? Why da-da-da?
Right.
As opposed to, again, say like, well, we're watching Dylan again. I mean, Dylan has his little deal, and we talked about what he's doing. We were doing last night. He's looks like, so today he's playing out. Last night, what was he in front of us?
Yeah.
He was, what, 4th arrow?
Yeah, he was like
playing that little hook stop deal.
18
and now he's
kind of fall back-ish.
Yeah, and now he's playing out. And obviously not close to the gutter where Simo's at. But the deal of he's using that same ball, but he moved 2 zones right and keeping it in front of him. So, yeah.
I have an updated cut score after 3 games.
Okay.
+5.
That's wild, man. Honestly. It's a little shocking to me.
Yeah, but this is game 4. Anything can happen.
I know. Still wild. To finish up that point on Simo, like Cote and other players of that caliber, like I always try to make sure I preface the words or the right context to make sure that we're always giving them their credit for being great.
Absolutely.
Just because we watch them every day, we can get, we expect them to be great all the time.
And sometimes they're not.
And even not even to that point, it's like I want to always convey to the viewer.
Correct.
Like, hey, they're really great. Like,
they're way better.
They really are.
Yes.
I don't want it to sound like, they're just being, that's Simo being Simo.
Right.
It is, but he's really good.
But
he wasn't born that way. All the accolades and all the talent is dedication. 100%.
Yeah.
So
my guy picking up the wash out there, and again, Josh was Emil's starting. If he's starting his tournament team,
I want Josh.
Man, Josh is on. He goes. Josh is one of my first picks. And again, he keeps it in play. Obviously, we're looking at right here in front of us, 103 in the 5th, square up in the 6th. So scores. He's kept it in play every squad he's bowled.
Game 3 scores are updated. Of course, as Carl just mentioned, that new projected cut score. Make sure you click the link at top of the Bowl TV. I'm sorry, the Bowl Stream TV.
Actually, I think
chat.
I was sorry, didn't mean to jump in there.
Yeah.
If that comes out of the ball return, I thought Simon was using the pitch black, but it's a blue one. Yeah, that's a fast pitch actually. So he brought a fast pitch with him, which is a little bit older urethane. It's got a different weight block than what was in the is in the pitch black, but still a Thane ball from the out.
By the way, he's got the highest game of the tournament.
Yeah, I heard that. little birdie said something about. I'm gonna guess he made it. He did it the easy way, like spare sheet, and didn't do it the other way.
Pretty sure that's how it happened.
Okay.
I think we would have heard more oohs and ahs about that as opposed to the traditional 11 in a row. But plus 187 for 3. 787 for 3. 231, 266, 290. Anthony Simons Carson Opella did shoot 277 to start the day. Carson, great player out of Rio Rancho, still a young player. He's a former Chuck Hall star tomorrow. He's bowling with Simon on 5 and 6. He was on 9 and 10 a moment ago. He's second at plus 70. And then Eileen Linares and Josh Williams currently plus 66. Matt Jones plus 57. His strategy is working today. He said he's going to use urethane, and it's working. Justin Sims, who I really like watching throw the ball as well, plus 43. Michael Haugen Jr. plus 29. Brian Wall plus 28. He's nearby somewhere too. There he is right there, in fact. No, that's not him. I'm thinking about someone else. Hope Gramley is plus 11. Hope shot 168 on 9 and 10. She went down to, I think, 13,
and that was the game that she was yelling at herself.
She was. She was not happy
with
her spare shooting.
9 out back to back. She goes, "Can you pick a spare?"
She was not happy with her spare shooting, but she got herself together and shot 242. And now she's back in business.
Back in the mix.
Man, Michael Fitzgerald Fitz just can't stay away from that one game. 220, 160 for Fitz. He's plus 9. Joseph Gage plus 5, and Brian Richardson even. Deron Booker minus 2, Mark Myers minus 3, Kevin Robertson minus 3, Michael Saginaw minus 5, Briley Hall minus 6, Tim Eichhorn minus 9, Tyler Betts minus 10, Sarah Klassen minus 12, Tim Simonis minus 13.
Dylan with the touch.
Well, there's a lot of scores still left to play.
Yes, sir. And again, we're creeping in on halfway through game 4. Still games 5 and 6 to play. And you mentioned Matt Jones' strategy with Thane, and we watched him start here, this squad in front of us. And the one thing I think to make note of where he's playing, not playing the out, say like Simo, he's in the track more, but he's using more touch and feel. I mean, Simo's using touch and feel from out, but Matt's using touch and feel and a little bit slower ball speed to play that kind of hold spot where some folks are trying to do it reactive instead of being another zone right out by the gutter and throwing it firm, like where Robert was, kind of thing. So, yeah, again, it's a matter of finding, like Mike Calderon said, it's finding what you're good at and being able to repeat it. And, like you said, for him, he goes, if my comfort spot would be, I'd use a bigger ball with surface, because then I can throw it harder, much easier than I can throw it softer. And again, it's just knowing your game and knowing what you can and can't do. So.
Oh, I knew he was close. I was right. Brian is bowling on 13 and 14 currently. Brian Wall, and he's working on a 4-bagger. Just seen the right of your screen. Unsure what that was, but it looked urethane-ish.
Urethane. Come on, Justin.
Sims out of trouble, just a 5-pin. Again, that combo I was saying last night, Shalem about, I'm gonna put this on I'll put it on my calendar, which is really the only way I can make sure I do things, is to punch up some thing. I'm just gonna do it. And
you know what that means, though?
I'm not gonna upset people at league, because I know people get upset about that kind of thing.
You know what that means?
What's that?
You keep talking about drilling bowling balls. I mean, you actually have to put bowling shoes on and throw them.
To apply myself.
Or you could just be a guy that's like, hey, I'm going to go drill a ball and just look at it. Just put it in a bowling bag, put it in the garage or put it in the car. Like, what's that? Well, I wouldn't drill the ball. Are you going to throw it? No, I just wanted to drill the ball, see what it felt like on my hand.
Well, there was a time where so I keep saying this thing and they'd say, well, you got to get somebody who can help you accountable or help you be accountable.
Oh,
right?
yeah. There you go.
So maybe I'm going to get Carl on the phone and say, Carl, I'm drilling the ball. That means you have to drill a ball too. And then you have to go bowl. Yes, you.
You talking to my wife? Speaking of my wife, I got to say something about my wife and my kids. They have put up with me putting together this tournament for about a year. So she's woken up with me every morning. We're spending 18, 19-hour days here. So she's gotten the kids to school, gotten the kids out of school, running back and forth to the bank and doing all those household things that need to still be done on a day-to-day. So I got to give her credit. This tournament could not happen
Absolutely.
without my wife, Kathy.
Shout out to Kathy. Thank you, Kathy. And thank you for hosting us at your house, too.
Yes.
And thank you for hosting them at our house for dinner. So, yeah, my wife and kids have put up with me putting this crazy thing together. So,
But we know
feel
they
you.
put up with you on the daily. It's just a
well,
little
that
bit
part they're
different.
blessed about.
A little bit different in this event, but yes, we can't thank you guys enough. And like Mike said, it takes a village. It takes everybody to be on the same page and to work together. Yeah, and again, we've all looked at each other at the end of the night. We're like, okay, I guess we'll be here tomorrow, and we're all like, you get in that zombie mode kind of thing. And no, it's a good thing. And again, you've got a great supporting cast.
Yeah, I got to
sure.
give credit where credit's due.
Absolutely.
No, I am
And if
interested in listening
if
back.
you forget that, me and Rob will remind you.
Oh, you guys do.
Yeah, don't worry.
I am interested in going back and listening to what you all talked about with Michael Calderon. So,
It's good. We talked about the training center and the potential and all the different things, and there's so much more yet to come with that as he learns more and teaching. Obviously you're talking about curriculums and teaching instructors and doing more things. So
what he has over there, that training facility, is state of the art, and the people behind that, absolutely amazing. So they got something special going over there at B3.
Mr. Wall did finish with 256, and he was 28 over. So
Wow.
that obviously a big game, and obviously he's going to probably move up a couple of spots. This is a big opportunity here for Dylan Taylor as well, because Dylan is minus 25 currently after 3 games.
okay. Again, we'll see what my son does over there in 5 and 6, but that was needed with Simo having, I say my son, he's got 119 in the 7th.
Back-to-back splits.
Back-to-back splits. Started the game with a double, 119. So, I mean, obviously he can still salvage the game, but, I'm sure he's got some thoughts creeping in his head once you go back-to-back washouts. And again, it's in the cases like that, to come back and then throw a 10 back, it's the focus, it's understanding, okay, why did that do that? Was it me? Was it the lane? Making that adjustment to dial it back in. And again, I think that's what we've talked about throughout this entire event of knowing, and I think getting a better understanding and taking this challenge on, because when you figure out, okay, my ball did this, but why did it do it? Was it me? Was it the lane? Is it transition? Is there friction in the lane surface? And now we've mentioned this squad. We've got 4 on a pair in most pairs. So the extra bowlers, extra balls going on the lane, is that causing things to be a little bit different for some of these folks that have bowled multiple squads? Just variations of stuff.
I mean, did you think with more play on the lanes, with more people, it was just eventually going to have an opportunity to have the lane blow up a little bit?
I wouldn't necessarily blow up, because it's still it's going to cause the transitions to happen at different time frames, and the other X factor in it. And I saw it walking and chatting with a couple people down this way before the squad started, folks who hadn't bowled yet, and they go, why is that person sandblasted that bowling ball? And then you go to the next pair, and there's not a sanded ball in the rack. And then you go to the next pair, they're like, that guy's really sanding his urethane ball, while the other guy was sandblasting a reactive ball. So you take the extra bowlers and then the extra surface only on certain lanes. It, again, like we've talked, it creates another type of equalizer, if you will, because it doesn't. I guess what I'm saying in the story I told earlier this week is this entire field is not breaking them down together. Like a professional tour, kind of like what we just talked about with having better players, that there'd be expectations. We're like, oh, well, we're all going to start here. We're all going to, it doesn't matter the brand or what's going on. We're going to do this and this and this. and you see those moves happen. This, with the gamut of and styles and skill levels, here, this, that, there's no right or wrong, you know? And I think that's circles back to credit to the pattern for allowing that to happen. You know, because again, it's not that, you know, the only way to score is to throw this particular type of ball in this particular part of the lane. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a variety in there. So, which is what you want. And you're going to catch it. Crossover. Chip it. So right here in front of us, 11 and 12. Off to our right. 235 is high on that pair. Oh, 256 for the B bowler on 13 and 14.
Yeah, that was Brian.
That was Brian. Okay. Yep. No, yeah, because you mentioned that earlier, and obviously you get double and you got 8 on the fill, so can't be mad about a little 250 game. And speaking of catching a double, Simo did catch the double, so striking the 8th, striking the foundation frame. And whoever is bottom left on that pair, which I can't remember, has potential of 250. And here, is she carried? All right. So I'm going to give you a funny coming off of that pair right now. Simo's the low guy on the pair.
Yeah, Christine Johnston, Carson Opella.
Christine just at 215.
Right. Is KJ on that pair too?
So
or is he moving to that pair?
Carson. I don't know who the leadoff. Whoever's traveling with Simo.
Might have been KJ. I'm not sure.
So Simo can punch out for 209, and yeah, he's the low on the pair. After shooting 290, shoots 209, and he's low in the pair. Where on some pairs, 209 would be high on the pair. And yeah, here's an example over here in 15 and 16. You got 213, and then you got 176, 172, 173. So, again, not major damage in terms of if you're trying to keep your score floating in that zone. You know, that 180, 190 is ideal to lose pins. 170 you can kind of chew on a little bit. You know, it's when you shoot those 160s or 140s that you think woulda, coulda, shoulda. Looks like Dylan snuck in a little bit, catches the break.
So just excuse me, from the Simo perspective.
Yeah.
Now he was throwing a pitch black at some point in that game. So you were correct earlier.
Okay.
He was throwing it because I saw it go down the lane.
Okay.
And you know, whenever he decided to make that switch to the fast pitch.
Yep.
But just watching how, even from this angle, how he has had to slow his ball speed down for the fast pitch. Of course, he tried something on the field which looked like a reactive ball.
Got 5.
And he got 5. But he slows ball speed down. He probably moved a little left the fast pitch to kind of circle it ever so slightly. And then he was throwing it a little harder, and of course a little further right with the fast pitch. So again, just the versatility. Just from those two moments, so those two items right there. Throwing it one way with a different type of urethane and throwing it another way with another type of urethane.
True story.
And yes, again, low on the pair.
And 204, low man on the pair.
Nice game by Carson.
Yeah, he finishes out the 250.
256.
Good for him.
Carson now is going to make the flip. He's going down on the high end. He is moving left. And we're going to see Anthony Simonson 9 and 10 coming up next. Here in game number 5, Emil Williams Jr., Carl Ong, Roto Schlim, Chris Schlimmer. Big thanks to some of our guests already. We had Brianna Cote in game 1. We had Mike Calderon in the building as well. Thank you, Scooby. It was Michael Haugen Jr. who was crossing with Simo. Solo legit, it is flattish, yes. This pattern is we don't have the graph, we just have the details. And those details, 42 feet in length, 34.5 mils of oil volume, 1.67 to 1. On the left ratio, 1.83 to 1.
So yeah, you guys are laughing at me. So
right.
I got actually a pro shop guy I've been helping with some layouts and stuff like that. He just sent me a message thanking me for he's understanding his ball motion better, seeing the lane and this and that. So I was sending him the virtual thumbs up with my ugly melon. I always like to do that for people, you know, because sometimes you just get tired of emojis. So I'm just like, I'll be the emoji.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Derek Acuff struggled that game. He does throw well. So I assume you're talking about Derek Acuff. He does throw well.
Yes.
Unfortunately, he had 4 splits that game.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you are looking at the numbers kind of on that end column, that's a cumulative number, but the scores aren't following the players. So the number again, that total, or you're looking at that series or what looks like a series number, if you will, that is not following the players. So it's just the cumulative total of the players who have bowled on those spots on these pairs. But having said that, where is Derek Acuff in the standings? He is minus 49 coming into this game, and obviously he's going to add a few more. We got 2 games left for folks to try to make a few things happen before again that line begins. It might be starting. I told Carl, well, I'm going to guess after game 3 that you might get a few folks that tell you, hey, I'm going to bowl at 6 o'clock squad. Just letting you know.
Oh, for sure.
Let me go ahead and pay.
Yep. I mean, and obviously it's the thing of, and he anticipated it. Him and Theo, they talked about waiting to see the number of walk-ins, and there was speculation that this was going to be the biggest squad. Man, it is by far, obviously. So we knew that was going to be a thing, and it turned out to be exactly that. See if Michael Haugen Jr. here can catch this hit on lane 8.
Well, it could be Michael Haugen Jr., Scooby, who was following, who was crossing with Simo, because he's bowling on 7 and 8.
Yep. So obviously
It's got to be KJ.
Just a touch high. And it's going to sneak out a 2-0 game here with the conversion.
Charlie, that's a good point. Where you can you look up when you get to that pair, and those scores will tell you, like 11 and 12, right? 793 for 4, 810 for 4, 821 for 4, 776 for 4. So that would say, okay, I can maybe catch something on this pair. That makes I like that point, Charlie.
Yeah, that's definitely a good philosophy in that regard.
Charlie, do you have a story where that
came into play in some?
Yeah, I would love to hear.
Put that philosophy into execution, maybe
positively affected you, and you got to that pair, you looked up, and whether the scores collectively on the pair suggested that it was either a tough pair, or maybe you saw some good bowlers on that pair and wondered, well, how in the heck did they shoot this? And or you saw the opposite and said, all right, I'm going to get some score here because everybody else did. Appreciate that interaction.
Yeah, and just in case you're watching this pair right here in front of us, the letter D, no, that was not 374 for 4.
Correct.
Because again, we do have, most of the pairs have 4.
At least one game, there was a blind up there for that.
There is a blind that sneaks in there. Actually, this pair might have had 3 a couple times, now that I think about it. So yeah, just, but I like that was a great way to look at it for those who maybe aren't in this tournament level of bowling. Hey, you go to the pair and go, well, it's between 700 and 800 was shot for 4 games. Makes you feel okay. not knowing that, hey, there's been 4 games bowled, and if you came into the spring and go, man, 4 games are bowled here, and there's only 370 pins knocked down in that spot, whew, make you kind of wonder a little bit.
Well, we've seen KJ virtually for the last few days. It was like being at a virtual conference talking with KJ through the computer. And now he's here in person and get a chance to see, oh, my. Wow.
Exactly what he said. He goes, that was nice.
Holy snap.
Yep.
Sucker turned into a 6-7.
Yep.
Havel Wrights is now bowling on 11 and 12 along with Chris Stewart. Now, if I recall, I feel that Havel Wright was from the East Coast, or maybe he's lived in this area, but the times I've seen him, there's only been a couple that have been on the East Coast. But he could throw it too. And we'll see him on 11 and 12.
Probably could see off of his name on a listing if he's got a city.
Yeah, it's listed as Mesa.
Okay.
And so that would lead me to believe perhaps he's moved here, but I've seen him elsewhere, and it's always been on the East Coast, so I thought he was from that part of the country.
You're right, too. You're right. That's kind of triggering.
I know he does bowl, high-level events often, and I feel like he bowled holiday doubles with my man Jalen Mosley.
Okay.
Jericho Gatos, also in 11 and 12. So it is KJ, Simo, Tim Eichhorn, and Brian Wall here with us on 9 and 10.
GT just said that Havel is from New Jersey, just moved here 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay. See, all right. I don't be tripping. I feel like I know my stuff most of the time, considering how many bowlers I watch week in.
Havel is the one that did the action match a couple months ago with Matt Zwick.
Matt. Okay.
Okay.
Gotcha. You're right. Okay. I remember that circulating slightly on social medias.
So
Got some ideas flowing.
So truth be told, that's what sparked my interest.
Right.
Which then culminated into the GT versus Robert Smith match.
Which I remember you calling me about that. Uh-oh, my bad, folks.
No, you're good.
Wrong button. Wrong button. Hit the wrong button.
I'm going to take a TV timeout.
Okay. GT2 is he in the chat? He is in the chat. All right, so it is it Hayvel? I'm gonna just ask him right now. Thank you, Revstorm. I just had a brief convo with him. And I asked him, because people ask me this, because my name is mispronounced often. And I said, well, why do they always mispronounce your name then? And he said, it's so much effort to tell people how to do it right. I get it. I gotta be honest, man. You know, we were just talking about the Phoenix bowling community. And now you got Havel up here? Or down here?
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
And he's here.
I wouldn't be surprised if, and it just naturally, right? People do move to Arizona for multiple reasons. Weather, obviously, sometimes it helps the joints, and the bones, and everything else. But that's what's up. Floyd Bush. Floyd checking in. I'm going to have to pay attention to that Floyd. Let me double check to see if scores are updated, folks. For those of you who are just joining us, please hit the thumbs up if you wouldn't mind. If you haven't already, subscribe to Bullstream TV. Turn those notifications on. We have been live for every squad since Thursday morning, which now feels like way back. We're at that point in the tournament where we can say way back on Thursday morning. It was a full day on Thursday, a couple of squads early. Sweeper and Robert Smith versus Greg Thompson Jr. late that evening. Had 3 squads yesterday, and we are into squad 2 of today, squad 7 overall. We'll have one more tonight, 6 p.m. local, 9 p.m. Eastern. That was a great shot there, Jericho, and I can see a little bit of what you're talking about there, Floyd. Jason Lowry over on 13 and 14. Simonson with an early double. Looking for triple. Well, that hooked early. Ooh, there is a spot on lane 10. Wow.
That picked up.
Man. Simon just kind of had to do one of those kind of squat look maneuvers like, wait, is that really what I just, is that spot out there?
That's a little bit of a lineup that Greg just mentioned, huh?
Nice messenger. Well, for Havel, yeah, absolutely. Last 2 years, he says Havel, Wesley Lowe, Eddie Van Daniker, and Brian Halen. I remember seeing Brian at, I think it was the Cactus Classic, but I'm not sure. It might have been last year, and I was like, oh, okay. Let's see Brian Halen, and I saw it, his hometown and listed, and I'm like, oh. And I talked to him. I'm like, oh, okay. Y'all just getting better and better. Any additional but interest level going up in regards to the 6 p.m.
Oh, yeah. People are asking to sign up now.
I knew it was going to happen. It was guaranteed to happen one way or another, but I think the question was how early was it going to happen?
Yeah, we are an hour and a half before we were going to take check-ins and sign-ups, but we might move that up a little bit for sake of time in regards to the amount of potential walk-ins that are going to come. We got quite a few first-timers that are going to be bowling the 6 o'clock squad, actually.
Okay.
So they do know that they will not have the opportunity to bowl the Desperado. So they will be a one and done in theory. They have given themselves and backed themselves against the wall. Unfortunately, it's the snooze you lose type scenario at this point.
Hey, as one great tournament director used to tell me all the time, not me as a bowler, but we would also talk about this as like tournament staff members. Read the rules.
Yes. Very true. And I have posted it online, on the flyer. And if you look at the signage across the center, there are also tournament highlights and reminders. So not for lack of open communications about these certain rules. And one of them was one-lane courtesy. We've stressed that quite a bit just for timing purposes, as well as, if you are expecting two-lane courtesy, don't be surprised if you don't get it, because it's not a requirement, and please don't be upset should you consider yourself being double jumped. For anybody that's not bowling currently, that's looking to bowl the 6 o'clock squad.
So I guess repeat that again, because I might have missed that first part, but I definitely heard the part about maybe moving it up.
Signing up.
Gotcha.
So we were going to do check-in at 6:30, but because of the potential opportunities and the amount of potential walk-ins that we are anticipating, we're going to probably open that up a little bit early today, just for the sake of trying to keep the 6 o'clock start time on pace. Because we have to get through all of that to then declare an official cut score, and then to open up for sign-ups for the Desperado. Because there are going to be people on the bubble. They're going to wait for official cut score. Then we have to give them the opportunity to sign up as well. There are people just outside the number. There are people that already know after the 6 o'clock spot, game 4, game 5, probably automatically going to sign up for the Desperado. Well, Floyd, I saw your message, and we'd love to have you out. If there's a number 2, we'll definitely have you come out, for sure.
And bring St. Louis with you, Floyd.
There's another bowler from St. Louis that definitely said he will be here next year. Unfortunately, Mr. Pete Weber, the GOAT himself, is under the weather and unfortunately could not make this event. So here's to hoping Pete gets better real soon.
PD Dub. Sean Rash was also scheduled to compete this weekend. He too unrelated, but a health item to tend to. So that's 2 obviously high level, high profile players that were scheduled going to bowl. So just imagine what year 2 certainly could look like, and probably will look like. Simo.
Ooh. That was. Did I see an 8-10 there for a second?
Yeah, that wasn't. It wasn't 8-10. It was like a 4-8-10 for a moment.
For a moment, yeah. I didn't see the ball going into the pocket. Was that light?
Yes.
Okay.
Floyd, man, who does travel from the Lou these days in regards to bowling? I feel like there's always like a small handful of groups that really do travel from not just St. Louis, but even Chicago, Detroit. There's always a few, never maybe a large group, but like a good solid nucleus group, if you will. It's Michael Haugen. Let me check these scores. They should be updated now. I saw Theo Roman, and they are. The Game 4 scores are updated. Click the link above the chat. It is pinned. Simo with the obviously the big advantage. He had 787 after 3. Shoots 204. He still shoot. Wow, almost had to catch myself. He's plus 191 for 4. Carson Opella, after his 256 game, he's now plus 126. Ryan Wall plus 84. Matt Jones plus 81. I tell you, I've watched Matt Jones a handful of times now, and watching him struggle yesterday, and then watching him basically take the last game and a half to develop his strategy for today and then apply it and have it be successful. That is what a good bowler does. Brian Richardson plus 61. Josh Williams plus 57. Eileen Linares plus 46. Michael Haugen plus 32. Michael Fitzgerald plus 28. Deron Booker plus 22. Dwight Burns plus 7. Justin Sims plus 4. And Dylan Taylor has gotten to plus. He is now plus 1. Simo. Riley Hall minus 2. Brett Wolf minus 7. Sarah Klassen minus 7. Hope Gramley minus 8. Tyler Betts minus 9. Kevin Jenkins minus 14. Michael Saganen minus 15. Kevin Robertson minus 16. Eric Hatchett is minus 18. Jeremy McElliott minus 25. Tim Eichhorn minus 26. There's too many names with scores with a game and some change left that with one good game at the end of this block could get you into that plus 20 to plus 30 category.
I think the flip side is, unfortunately, we've seen it time and time again, when you're in the number at plus 20, 25 with one game to go, and they're even.
Game 6
less.
has been a problem. Game 6 has been a problem.
Facts.
Did you say fats?
Facts.
Hashtag facts. No, seriously. I mean, the game, we looked at it earlier when we were looking at the overall ball before this squad started. A couple of people that were around that were above the number at the time where there was a 140 the game 6, 150 game 6. So they're losing, in some cases, 40, 50 pins that last game. So yeah, it's definitely that last game can be it can be a doozy. It could be a difference maker for sure. Someone has a good picture over there in 5 and 6. It was.
Hello, Regina. Happy Saturday to you. Hope your family is well. Is Justin in St. Ambrose bowling tournament this weekend? Nice spare. I saw it at the bottom of your screen by Josh Williams. Good washout pickup. Alex, let's see. Simo has been throwing a fast pitch. There was a shot that looked like reactive during this game, but it's been a fast pitch. He was throwing a pitch black a little bit earlier. Haugen having some struggles this game, a couple of splits. That's all it takes.
And so
Ball change there for Brian Waugh.
I think that's what you talked about. Emil, that's Simo. Looks like he's got I think an exponent.
He's moving out to the G. Hook.
Judging by that facial expression, it wasn't. Either did what he thought it was going to, or it did something he potentially expected to do, and he's like, yep, I deserve that.
Oof. Stewie almost had one stand up on him. Messenger kicks that 9 for Chris Stewart. All right, that's good stuff, Regina. Second going into tomorrow. All right. Good old Mid-States. Oh, boy.
Okay.
Oh,
so
boy.
you see that on lane 12. We have that on camera, right?
Oh, Habel.
You got that, right?
It's a candidate.
Is that the 1789?
Yes, sir.
Leave of the day.
And the 5
candidates.
fell late.
Oh. See, I just saw the aftermath. I did not see the entry of ankle.
Is that one going for, was it Wriggles? The leave of the day?
Yeah, Dylan Taylor also loves some leave of the day.
Ooh, that's the other lead of the day right there. After 2 hits.
Yeah, and this is not candlepin or duckpin where you get the extra ball.
Is that how it works? You get 3?
Oh,
Three
one
shots
of them.
at it?
Yeah, me and Simon were talking about that the other day. I think it is candlepin. Speaking of Simo,
Nice
Gets
roll
the-
of the 3-pin.
grinning, shaking his head. Hey, so is it duckpin or candlepin where you get 3 balls?
Both of them, candlepin and duckpin.
Yeah, I've only actually duckpin bowled once. Yeah, I've only done it once in my life, and that was years ago. We were in Pittsburgh. But yeah, no, we were talking about it in the office the other day, and yeah, he's like, oh yeah, the 3 shots, and I think Chad or somebody else said something. And so yeah, 3 shots clear the deck.
I need to get out of world.
So just looking remotely close here, we've got, we talked about some pairs that were decent scoring earlier. Well, over here in 15 and 16, I don't know, we're going to have, well, the D-bowler can actually, 203, the highest on that pair is going to be 2-0. Highest here on 13 and 14 is going to be, still got 2 teen left. Some of the other pairs, again, game 5, we're seeing some different transitions. Seeing some people collecting some opens this game. That's going to make it, if they were near the number or in the number, it's going to make it tougher to, it's going to, I guess, force a bigger last game, if you will. Because we had seen the game 6 stumbles, but now it's like we're starting to see some of those in game 5, this squad. So we'll see what transpires from here into this last game.
Gina also says hello to you, Schlim, and Carl, by the way.
Hey-o. Oh, let's turn Carl back on. He was trying to talk. Gotcha.
What's going on, Reggie? How you doing?
Regina,
Regina?
I think, right?
Yeah, she was being incognito. It's Regina.
My apologies.
Emil called her out on that the other day.
Now, I'm going to guess that somewhere along the way, whether growing up or even now, someone has called her, or she has the nickname Reggie for Regina. That's my guess.
Okay.
As an incognito way to pop on some live streams.
Oh. Well, again, I apologize for not knowing. I
No,
guess
it's
I wasn't.
okay.
I guess
did
I
the
wasn't
same-
in the.
I did the same thing yesterday.
Okay.
She said, "Hello, what's up, Emil?" And I said, "Hey, Reggie." And then she said who it was. I'm like, Regina. How am I supposed to know that's you?
I think she needs to correct her screen name then, so this doesn't happen over and over again.
So I learned a couple weeks ago when I was with Emil in Iowa at the kids event, the number of folks that chime in, and he's like, oh, hey, what's going on? Yeah, they just kind of sit there and like, okay, they got their conversation going on because I'm not really seeing what's coming through the feed. And then all of a sudden he'll be like, okay, and back to you, Schlim. I'm like, all right, sweet, cool. So, yeah, no, it's all good.
She said hello, man. Tell him. Storm B, someone else asked about Eddie. He bowled, I feel like last night's squad, Eddie
Who's
Van
that?
Danik.
Yes, he bowled last night's squad. Yep.
He would.
And they got tickets to the baseball game today, so or tonight.
Well, that's a good ticket to have now.
It's I think the game starts at 5, I believe.
That's what I hear. No.
So they are headed to. It's 3:30. I'm sure if Nicole is listening or watching, which she might be on the way to. Y'all have fun tonight. Yeah, they're probably heading to the ballpark now, or if not already there, because it is a playoff game. These are the kind of games you go get there early, and people are excited to be there.
Absolutely.
Buzz in the air. Lots of
Big
excitement.
opportunity. Big
Yeah.
opportunity for the D-backs.
Well, it's funny because in the middle of the squad last night, we're watching bowling, and all of a sudden I hear this monster eruption from the bar. Yeah, so almost
That was
D-backs
a
plus to
walk-off
1.
deal. Yeah.
D-backs
Yep.
plus to 1. So
Looks like we either got a ball return or something along those lines.
Yeah, me, definitely. Oh, I'm not a cloud anymore. I'm actually now an eclipse. I've graduated. The cloud it's now an eclipse. Yeah, it's good. So looking over here on, we got 5 and 6. 190. Yeah, it's not just for some pairs, just getting highs of getting like a 190. So we'll see this as a transition game. Judging what we see down here, I don't foresee the number moving much. Although it looks like a 230 over there on 19 and 20. So,
All right, KJ gonna be in the 240s. And let's see, KJ was minus 14.
yeah, came up, shook my hand. He goes, "Okay, I'm getting out of the way. Cloud, just don't follow me." Well, this was before the squad started. And so then he just spun around and he's, for those of you who couldn't see, he's calling me out as the black cloud. And Carl threw the sprinkles over my head and I go, "I'm not a cloud, I'm an eclipse." That's how I roll.
you definitely know how to cast a shadow over somebody.
yeah.
You do. Literally and figuratively.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Like I said earlier, I'm short for my weight. It's fun. I get it. So if I was 8'12",
8'12"?
8'12", I'd be skinny.
8'12". I love that. I'm a little shy of 5'12".
Yeah, there you go.
Just shy.
Well, don't look now. But KJ is plus 33 with 1 to go.
So looking at the talent in this field right now after this squad, what do you think the number's at? If we're just take a guess after now.
What was it going to this game?
After game 4.
I mean, considering it was still plus 5 or whatever it was,
I think it goes down this game.
I can't see it going up because I did say I didn't give a prediction except this squad is going to certainly determine the number plus or minus 5 pins or whatever. I still didn't expect it to go down. Like that still was not registering in my mind. I thought there's no way it doesn't go up somehow. And I'm thinking it gets into double digits. But now maybe not.
I still think it's going to be in the double digits. Oh, look, Bree jumped in. She chimed in. And for the person that says, I don't like predicting numbers.
But plus 21, yeah, she's standing firm on it. Plus 21 still does sound good.
It's got to be close. I just don't see how it's not double digits at the end of this whole thing. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I mean, there's so many people in the back that think it's going to be even. So, who knows?
Don't let that get hot.
Is that the first game Simon's had that's where he's lost a pin?
Yeah, because he bailed out 2 over here. But I don't know if you heard my comment, don't let that get hot. Did you see his fill shot?
I did.
Yeah, and that's
probably the last time he's going to be under 2-0.
so that's something we actually talked about when he was in the office last week. The backup ball. And again, it's something he's gotten good at and pulls it out. And, him and I talked about it, and again, I think at some point in time, some people were like, oh, he's just doing that to mess up the lefties. And no, we talked about it in some of the tournaments. He's actually been able to pull that out. He's scored along with the lefties. And then they go, oh, he's like, yeah, he goes, sometimes if I see a certain thing, and he goes, it just makes sense. And I go, hey, you do you, bro. Yeah, and that's when you that's when he's next level. You know what I'm saying? And it's not that, again, he's screwing around or just goofing off. There's times where he's throwing a basketball average 240.
Right.
And people go, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, that's a thing. because we got a couple guys in the office that have been, Kendall's been working on, Kendall Miles, throws are one-handed.
Yep.
Trying to throw it. He's like, man, I've been trying to throw a backup ball. He goes, I can't quite get my hand in that spot. And Simo spun around, he threw a shot, looked at him, he goes, it takes practice, son. And so he's like, all right, I'm going to keep working on it.
Well, Theo was telling the story, actually, about that at the Cactus Classic. I think it was last year. And it was the round of 4, if I recall.
Okay.
And Simo was bowling against Russ Oviat. And, his look on the right was okay. And all of a sudden, like Simo does, he just made the jump. And, boom, boom, boom. All of a sudden, this was a 3-game total pinfall match. And so all of a sudden, here comes Simo. And, made it a match. Russ, had to work in the 10th. I think Simo threw the first one in the 10th. If he had doubled, I think he would have forced Russ to double. Okay. Something along those lines. He got the first one, left whatever, second shot, and then Russ went up and did what he had to do. But Theo said it was the first time. It was the first time he had watched Simo in person.
Okay.
And then seeing that also as a part of what Simo does, incredible stuff. Incredible stuff.
And again, it gets into, we're talking about players of that caliber. We shot the video last week with the new balls, Magic Gem, TNT infused. And he also even threw a clone a little bit. It was one of those things that, so he's warming up and he threw about probably 6 or 7 shots. He goes, so this pattern's about 43 feet, blah, 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 blah. And some of the guys in the office go, wait, what? He goes, yeah, it just feels like it's about 42, 43, just the way my ball's shaping and doing whatever. And I think it was Ken. He goes, yeah, how did he know that? I said, that's called watching your bowling ball go down the lane and knowing where it picks up and where it shapes, and knowing just by those 6 shots, knowing what the pattern length was and kind of the volume and what he could do. And another person that's good at that, Belmo's good at that. Yeah, Norm Duke was good at that. He's like, oh, I feel this here and I see that. Wasn't looking lane graph. So.
Big thanks to all of our sponsors, Team Agent Ong, My Home Group, Brightside Catering, Mark Powell, Travel 24/7, WeSpeakWifi.com. Don't forget about Unwind, Wellness Redefined. That's a nice little Unwind Wellness Redefined.
It's a great logo too, by the way. The sideways S, which is the U and N, creating kind of a winding deal. But yeah, Unwind Redefined, little rhyme. Again, we talked about what your catchphrase is. We gotta get you coined.
I'm telling you, man, I don't.
I know you want it grassroots. You want it
I
on
don't even
natural.
Think about it. If I hear something, I'm like, oh, that sounds good. Okay, we'll work with that. That's it, GT2. That's right. Simo needed a double against Russ. He blocked twice, and I remember this, and he said this is a little more nerve-wracking throwing it back up. I recall this because he turned around, came back, and I think people just aren't used to seeing him, balk, whatever, right? But he turned back to the concourse essentially and said, "It is a little nerve-wracking. I'm not used to
throwing a backup ball when I need it.
Throwing it back up right in that scenario, in that setting.
Right.
A little bit of a different, obviously."
Different feel and
for him.
And thought process, yeah.
And he got the first one, right, and I forgot what he left on the second.
And so he did start this next game over here on 13-14 with the backup ball. Left a 3-pin, so just a little light, but, obviously still hit the 1-2. And again, it's one of those things that knowing him and his mentality, obviously having worked with him for as many years now, that's one of those things of this is, I mean, these last couple games, you know, he got the wood. It's now a fact-finding mission because, again, tomorrow morning is going to be a 4-game sprint. You know, if it gets to a spot where he sees a pair, you know, whether it's a starting pair or throws 2 shots on the pair he goes to and doesn't like it, now he knows he has the option to jump to the left side and give that a whirl. So.
What do we, I mean, I won't even say what do we expect to see. Honestly, I'm just hoping that I think we just see higher scores for this game, because this game, if we did some math, probably the field average for game 6.
Oh, this is a neutralizer game for sure.
It's been that game. It's like the equalizer. It's like Denzel Washington's coming out in game 6, and it's just,
that commercial looks really good, by the way.
It's very good, solid move. Equalizer 3. It's like Denzel's coming
cheap
out.
Plug time. Yeah, just throwing it out there. There you go. But no, it's like I said, it's been a neutralizer. It's been that game of, yeah, you said you take the cumulative average, I think, for that 3rd game. No, it's been the one that, you know, and again, it's not if people are maybe thinking about the number or what they need to get. It's thinking, you know, again, we're getting into game 6 and a lot of traffic and another transition period maybe as far as the lane condition. And yeah, you know, we've rattled it off and we've mentioned it numerous times, those that are up around that number, that they could have had a lot more if they wouldn't have had that 140, 150, 160 last game. So we'll see how things go. There's looking around, looking like from here to our left and up this way. I see a few doubles. Some clean starts here through 3, 4 frames. So that's pretty solid, especially here like on, especially here on 7 and 8. That whole pair's clean. Everybody on the pair's clean. Jericho right here, he's got the front 3. So, yeah, who knows? Maybe this is the set where the last game cumulative average is different. Who knows? And I will tell you, folks, it was short-lived for Simo in the backup ball. He jumped back to the right side of the lane, playing the gutter. Went 10-pin on 14 and went through the face here on 13 for a 3-10. So, yeah, he's just not saying he's going through the motions, but, you know, I can see him watching other players, and so he's just absorbing information around him to use for tomorrow morning.
Kyrene's moved over from 11 and 12 to 7 and 8.
Why did it take me long to cloud that pair, did it? Like, oh, they're clean through a couple, and then 1, 2, 10. Greek shirt, or big 4. Stay hot, Schlemm. I don't know if you call me, I guess you call me the lunar eclipse or whatever eclipse you want to call me. Galactic eclipse, I guess. Oof.
This could be a very big game for Fitz over there. Yeah. Virginia, I hope you're still watching.
Okay.
Sure, Bo, we can do that for you.
Oh, she picked it.
How about that?
A little tickle out the back. She's like, yay, go me.
Nice conversion. Excuse me. So Desperado, and I believe it's limited to well, every squad, no matter what, is limited to 90 entrants. So there could be up to 90 entrants in the Desperado, but it is a 2-game sprint and not a 6-game full squad. It's a 2-game sprint, and still the number of players that would advance from the Desperado is still going to be dependent on entries, but that ratio is different than the main event ratio. The main event ratio to advance is 1 in 5. Based on the total entries, the Desperado is 1-8 based on those entries. So ultimately, whoever will advance from the Desperado advances to the Cashers round tomorrow. So then Sunday morning, whatever X number of players that we will have, they will bowl 4 games in the morning at 9 a.m. local time, noon Eastern. The pins will drop, so everyone will start at 0 for those advancers tomorrow. Of course, it is the Cashers round, so if you make it to tomorrow, you get money. We get money. Get money. After those 4 games, the top 24 will then advance to single elimination, best 2 out of 3 match play. The top 8 after those the 4 games of the Cashers round will receive a first round bye match play. So we'll have essentially seeds 9 through 24 will be on the lanes. That first round of match play will welcome in those top 8 seeds, and of course the winners who advance will have another round of match play in that regard. And then we'll whittle our way down to the round of 8. And then after that, those winners will advance to then the stepladder finals, which will be a traditional stepladder. I believe those will be 1-game matches at that point. So that is
Hopefully everybody
final.
took notes because there's a test on that later.
Yeah. So to reiterate, Desperado 2-game sprint. Advancers will be based on a 1-in-8 cut ratio. Once the total number of advancers is decided, there's that hook spot that Simo met, and Mr. Hall just met it as well on lane 10. Once the advancers again are determined, Cashers round, all those folks will bowl 4 games in the morning. Pins will not carry over. Everyone starts at 0. We bowl 4 games. Top 24 advance to single elimination match play. And we essentially whittle it down until we get 4 for a stepladder final. And then someone's going to win $10,000 and get a really cool Agent Ong tournament belt. And be forever associated with Carl and Kathy Ong and everyone involved with this tournament. And I think that's a good thing.
Absolutely. And when you say championship belt, it's
championship
like a
belt.
World heavyweight WWE title
Heavyweight
belt.
champion of the world.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
there it
Boxing
is.
belt, yep.
Boom, right there. There's your belt. You'll see a little bit of the check in that too. Let me throw it back up over here. You see a little bit of the check. We'll make it a little smaller for you. A little bit of the check. Again, 10K check. Look at that, and that belt, I'm telling you folks, the pictures don't do it justice.
No.
It is heavy.
And large. It's large and heavy.
Well, maybe this might be the squad where Game 6 is not the nemesis for a lot of folks, because just looking around in our vicinity here, you know, for the majority, it's going all right. In fact, let's do a little refresh. Game 5 scores are indeed available. So Anthony Simonson still the leader at plus 185. Carson Opella, and Carson, who, you know, slightly being ever so slightly overshadowed by Simo here, has had a hell of a day as well. Carson 277, 204, 189, 256, 246.
Oh, wow.
Plus 172.
Boom.
Out the gates with 277, and then of course Simo shot 290. But since games 4 and 5, 256, 246 for Carson Opella. So he's going to be bowling tomorrow.
Yeah, he might actually. And odds are, depending on what he's got going this game, I'm going to guess he's down. I believe he's down way down there to the right.
Yep.
Yeah, he might pass Simo actually this game.
Yep.
You know, Simo's, like I said, kind of a fact-finding, you know, having some fun. He's got 86 in the 5th, strike up in the 6th. You know, he knows he's comfortably in, so.
So Brian Wall now at plus 55, and Brian was moving left, so he should be on. He's on 5 and 6. Wall was plus 55. And honestly, and very similar to this morning with Brianna Cote. It was Bree at plus 93, and then the scores underneath were very similar, again, to the way the squads have been going on this pattern. And Brian is now plus 55. Matt Jones at plus 54. KJ, Kevin Jenkins at plus 33. Ryan Richardson at plus 28. Josh Williams at plus 26. Tyler Betts at plus 17. Dylan Taylor plus 9. Michael Fitzgerald plus 8. Eileen Linares plus 5. Eileen's in, though, because
She's just plus 5 on this squad.
Very well. I'm just talking about this squad. And Dwight Burns plus 3, and then again several players with minus single digits, minus in the teens as well. So for Fitz specifically, he's again down on 5 and 6. He can max at 247. And he's plus 8. I think if he can get in the 230s, I think that's comfortable.
Okay.
Comfortable. A small sweat. Minute perspiration, but comfortable.
My man just said minute perspiration. Huh, all right.
There's a hook spot again. Oh, good break.
It's the same look you had when you walked by last time.
It's just lane 10.
Yeah.
It's just lane.
I need them all for me, so.
My corn was close for a minute. There's someone down on 3 and 4 that is going open 6 backer.
Sorry about that. That was one of our sponsors, Dave Sorgiano here. He's actually getting, him and his wife are gonna. His wife Mandy, he's gonna take her home. She's you see, she's having a surgery actually next week. She's got some back issues. She's got to get taken care of. But anyway, he was like, he tasked me. And he goes, Simo there. He goes, man, that's like watching. He's like, he's fishing with dynamite. I go, yeah. I said, you saw the backup balls, right? He goes, yeah. I said, and that's why I leaned over and I'm like, well, Carson's probably going to pass him. He's like, who? I go, yeah. I said, Simo's doing this. And I said, I don't know what Carson's got down there. He goes, no way. I go, well, it was eventually going to happen.
Right.
And he goes, yeah, I knew I couldn't lead the whole way.
It's Brett Wolf. Okay. I was saying someone on 3 and 4 has got spare or open 6 bagger. And let's see where. All right, Brett at minus 16. He's got open 6 bagger, 3 and 4. Open 7 bagger. This is what his sister Brandy was going to describe it. Once he starts striking.
Oh no, I've witnessed it in different occasions, and something I was going to say earlier. And it's another prime example, and you can actually see. Maybe if we get a chance to chat with Brett, or if you've chatted with Brett, after he won the Masters in the early 2000s, he came out and tried to bowl a little bit on tour, and again, you don't, he had a great run, and he bowled decent in some other tournaments, but it was humbling for him out there against the best in the world. And he even said it at that point in time. And obviously, again, he was 20 years younger than he is now because we're getting closer to 50. But he gained a newfound respect. And he goes, man, these guys are really good. And, you know, and again, that's the common theme for folks who maybe just pop in out on tour. You know, that was one of those deals back in the day, especially when they had the, if y'all remember, when they'd have like the high league bowler, you know, average, and like, oh, made it through the pizza, you know, bowl the pizza queue, and then they would compare the average.
Right.
It's going to show. I mean, there's good, but then there's next level. And anyway, yeah, Brett, like I said, a great bowler. You know, like we talked about, Hall of Famer, credentials are all there. But you know, even like I said, when he came out and tried on the regular tour, he's like, huh, okay, yep, this is definitely the next level. So.
Stewie. Shot there for Stewie in the ninth. Brett Wolf is going to be up. And is up on the approach. This is his ninth frame shot, we'll tell you. Ooh. That's a little ugly. It's a 1-3-7 washout. So KJ, I believe, finishes at plus 25.
Okay.
Fitz, it's a good break. Bottom right of your screen. That was almost a 7-10.
Okay.
Now, I just said if he get into the 230s, which he needed the first one in the 10th to do so, but 220 is also good. So open for Brett in the ninth. That puts him at 211. His max is 241. Brett Wolf. Excuse me. All right, Fitz handles that spare. So strike to get Fitz to 226. And if he does do that, that would put him at plus 34. Fitzy. Nice shot on the end. 226. And Fitz will finish at plus 34. Again, maybe minute perspiration, but I think that number is going to be all right. Like maybe you take an extra swipe of antiperspirants as you wait it out tonight.
I think we might have found a new saying, and I just see it as I can just see you going with the control your minute perspiration.
Man, we've been on the air since Thursday. Ben, yes, Ben. And what I'll do is actually get the full confirmation from Theo, the tournament director. Or Theo is the tournament director.
Yes.
Or Carl, because of the 1 and 5. Now, the way I was described, I think they showed it to me. Just doing the quick math. Let me make sure that's right. Let's see. We are at the. This is Saturday, 6 o'clock. No. Yeah, 6 o'clock. No, 1 o'clock. All right. So there's 1, 2, 3. Now, yeah, Ben, now the way I understand it, right, that ratio would move the current number to 36 at minus 23. And what I also learned is that red line is manually moved once a squad is beginning, especially now that we're Saturday. Before, the early squads, the red line was just there because it's part of the tournament software. And now Theo manually moves that number or that line to the number. So you would be correct from my understanding, Ben, at this moment. That would be the number at the moment. But I will get the official confirmation just on making sure we're doing what we know how to do.
Yeah, to make sure it's officially official.
I got to say, boy, 9 and 10, while there's been some triumphs on 9 and 10, we've had a lot of missed 5 pins on 9 and 10 today.
And you can blame it on the cloud or the eclipse, I guess. We'll put that out there.
Brett Wolf,
The galactic eclipse.
just left the 7 pin on the second shot attempt. He struck on the first, so a spare gets him to 231. Which, what did I say Brett was? Minus 16. So Brett is now plus 15.
Okay.
All right, 9 through 12 finishing up.
As most of the centers, somebody else is done or almost done. These guys are going to be the last to finish, and it just so happens that they're here in front of us, so no panning of the camera needed.
I know, for the first time.
For the first time all week.
It's usually 13 through 16 that's been last to finish qualifying. Like, we saw Kyle Michalowski bowl the earlier squad, and he looked like he might have been on his way to a number. But he came back here at 180. My man Jason Lowry's bowling, finishing things up. Jason Mike Lowry, as I referred to him during the Cactus Classic after he shot 300. In fact, Jason's 300 game is so far to this point, and I'll be adding more to that as we go along. The only video short that is on the Bowlstream TV YouTube channel right now. His 300 game from the earlier Cactus Classic in June.
Okay.
Ben, hopefully you heard me regarding that explanation. I did just shoot a text over, but I know those individuals are very busy entering the scores currently.
And also, as people are finishing, they're going, hey, can I sign up for the next squad?
Yes, so they are.
So
they're taking entries.
I
They're
saw
scores.
countless bowlers not even get their shoes off, turn and walk straight to the table. So,
yeah, this one's going to be obviously, we just knew it was only a matter of time, or sorry, which game someone was going to begin the process of, hey, who's bowling? You got space? Can I sign up, please?
yeah, can I sneak in there? Did he catch a crossover? He did not.
No, he did not. a nice finish right there. Nice shot. A couple missed single pins there from Mr. Golden Beast.
I'm going to guess that's a nickname.
Yeah. Based on this jersey.
Mm-hmm.
Represent Arizona. Little tire on the back. Maybe
Go Mobile.
Maybe a little racing.
Go Mobile Tires.
That's interesting.
Arizona.
See, he might know somebody that could help bowl.
I was fascinated by his twist turn and his backswing. Did you see that?
Yes.
You watched that?
Yes.
Flip the hand back and forth and then gets back to the point of release. And again, you can't, if you can repeat it, I'm fine with it. Just, how are we going to maximize what you can and can't do? But if you do something like that and you can't repeat it, okay, we're going to clean that up. But
well, that'll do it in front of us. It looks like there was just one pair.
in the 10th frame down there on 19 and 20.
That is a little too far for our range.
Well, maybe we need to get a telescope. And then you put a video camera behind said telescope and project it. I'm guessing that probably won't work that way.
No, I don't think so.
Okay. I didn't
That's a
think
good
so.
idea.
That was a good guess on my part. Again, I'm not the technology guitar center guy like you are.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. I need to return that.
Oh, okay. You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Appreciate that. I might go run and do that.
Well, we got a little bit of time here.
That's a little bit. This is obviously with the larger squad that we anticipated. This one would be the longest running squad too.
Yeah,
so
but still, it's only 4:17.
Yep.
Next squad start at 6.
D-Ron Booker is down on that pair too, and D-Ron was a little close. Where was he? Yeah, he was minus 23. In fact, speaking of that number, Ben, D-Ron was minus 23. So looks like he's got a spare to handle. But
Looks like he's in the 220s.
okay, well, then he's in the number.
I mean, again, I'm testing my contacts. But yeah, looks like he's got 210 or 220 up there. Something in that ballpark down there. So,
Well, folks, I'll keep it honest with you. We will we'll close it out pretty quick just because, excuse me. It'll be a short turnaround, theoretically, from now until 6 o'clock. I know Theo and Carl are working feverishly to make sure they get scores inputted and take entries for 6 p.m. and possibly the Desperado as well. I still would expect or anticipate the scores from this squad to be updated relatively quickly, so be on the lookout for that, obviously, on tournamentbowl.com. But, Ben, again, to my understanding, I do think that is correct, that the red line right now is, unofficially the number at this point in the tournament, and with a squad, one full squad, and Desperado left. Obviously, it's easier to keep track of what's happening from a cut score perspective, and so I do think that is the correct way. So, wait till certainly Tournament Bowl on the refresh. If you are considering coming back to Bowl tonight, shoot, get a bowling center a call just in case if you got any questions, if it could be in question for you in that regard. I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, Team Agent Ong, Create Proof Print, My Home Group, certainly Unwind Wellness Redefined, Mark Powell, Travel 24/7, WeSpeakWifi.com, and Brightside Catering, along with Bowling Dynamics, East Valley, Fans and Blinds, Berg Brothers, I Am Bowling,
Ramsey Auto Center, and Angela Zievert, wonderful swim instructor. I want to thank Carl Ong, of course, for joining us as always. Brianna Cote sat in for a little bit. Mike Calderon of B3 Performance talked with us as well. And, of course, the wonderful Chris Schlemmer, the Roto Schlem. Having said all that.
Also known as the Galactic Eclipse.
Oh, yeah, the new Galactic.
Because I'm
Eclipse.
Overshadowing a whole galaxy with my cloud.
Oh, Matthew Herbert, that's some good info. Closure on I-10, plan accordingly. Evening, okay.
Appreciate
right.
that. Anybody looking to get out this way?
Okay. That sounds very important. I think when we were at B3, Mike was saying that they do a lot of
redirecting.
Yeah.
I forgot what he said. He goes, yeah, and he goes, they wait till kind of a busy time of the year, and it's like there's a big thing happening
Big
with like
project.
a big move, and yeah. He goes, it was already bad to begin with. He goes, and now they just made it worse. I'm like, well, that's the Department of Transportation in any state, bro. It's not just
true.
here. So.
All right, folks, we will see you at 6 p.m. local, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Final full squad, and then, of course, the Desperado immediately following tonight's squad, which is Squad 8. So for all involved, we thank you so much for your support of the Agent Ong Open and certainly BoldStreamTV.com. For, again, Roto Schlem, Chris Schlemmer, Carl Ong, Carl and Kathy Ong. We appreciate them so much. The great folks here at Bowlero, Kyrene, and all of our sponsors. Emil Williams Jr. say so long for now. We'll see you in a little bit. It's been a presentation, squad number 7, the Agent Ong Open, right here on Boldstream TV.